It is draft week in the NHL, and this year's edition is going to be held in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Ahead of that, though, Darren Drager of TSN is reporting the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending free agent forward Alex Tuch. Drager also reporting the Sabres, along with other teams, remain very active in trade scenarios. But, of course, nothing official as of yet. We will, though, get the latest on the Sabres. Paul Hamilton joining the show a little bit later on at 6. And then one other note in the NHL, Edmonton lock-in defenseman Connor Murphy to a 5-year deal with an average annual value of $4.1 million. To college basketball, it may be the offseason, but that does not stop the wheel from turning. Michigan head coach Dusty May leaving college. He is heading to the NBA, where he is reportedly finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. To the World Cup, we have history today. Lionel Messi follows up his hat-trick in game number 1 with 2 goals today. And with those 2 goals, he now has 18 all-time at the World Cup, which is the most all-time. Argentina, with just a few minutes left here, look like they're going to beat Austria 2-0. At 5 o'clock, we've got France versus Iraq in Philly, and New Jersey at 8. We'll have Norway versus Senegal, and at 11, it's Jordan taking on Algeria in San Fran. Then in baseball, Yankees at Detroit at 6:10. 7:07, the Jays have the Astros in town. And at 7:10, the Mets. They play host to the Cubs. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Sports Radio 550.
As I hear that back, I think that was probably a subconscious homage to Rob Ray. The line about the feet.
Rub your feet. Yeah. I'll rub my own feet.
I'll rub my own feet, Rob once said in a clip that's not been heard in many years, but has played along many times over the years. I'll rub my own feet. Talking about massages.
Right, and
how much they cost.
How expensive it was, right?
Yeah. What's up, Rob? I have been kind of juggling ideas all day for this beginning of the show and the week. Mm-hmm. One being Lionel Messi, who just scored a second goal here in the waning moments of Argentina's win. We were all watching it. Can I do that? Does he rate? Do you want to do Brady Tkachuk? Do you want to do Wyndham Clark? What's your order right here? What's your batting order?
All three deserve to be talked about, and the Messi thing just happened, so it was very top of mind for me. What I was thinking, I guess if we're going to do it, I'm going to just tell you I'm watching that thinking. Like you go, of course, there's Argentinians and Argentina fans that live in America, and maybe even Austrian fans that live in America, and Austrian fans who traveled. But if you're just like a guy or a girl or a father, and you decided you wanted to go to a World Cup game, and this was the one that worked for you. Flights worked best for you.
Dallas.
Schedule worked, whatever. You can get there easily. You're there, and just how incredible it would be to go to a sporting event where one of the very best players to ever participate in the sport is taking part and he scores 2 goals or she, whatever. Like you go for that and you get it. And in this case, after him missing a penalty kick very early in the match, which would have given him the all-time World Cup goals record, and now he has it +1 because he scored shortly after he had the miss, and then another one here at the end. And that's just such a great score to have on the board. Like I was there when Messi set the all-time World Cup goals record, and it's just a lot of sports don't always deliver, or the athlete that you're thinking of as like the reason you're at an event. You know, it's hard. It's a team sport, and they don't always have the opportunity. You know, we've talked about this for years with hockey versus, say, basketball, where it's way more available. Still doesn't always happen, but it's more available for the guy that you're there to see taking over the game, whereas in hockey it's a little more complicated. This is just amazing to me that you'd get that. You make that choice, make those arrangements, go, and you get this. It's just so great.
It is interesting. It does sort of lock in the experience as one that you will, remember for many years.
Right.
I remember going to see the Mets with my friend, taking the Amtrak all the way into New York City and then going to a Met game, and first time there, walking into the stadium, New York City, immediately approached by an usher. You guys want to sit here? $20 each for the weekend, just immediately pitched. So we say yes. And bottom of the first inning, Darryl Strawberry comes up against Rick Mailer, who was then with the Reds, 1990, and took one out, absolutely no doubter. The Apple, like this, we're all set. Whatever else happens this weekend, we got this.
Wasn't a washout at all. Right.
Just like first inning, boom.
Yep.
I think soccer should be one where your odds aren't great, but maybe Messi is just
he might be immune to that. He just might be. And the other thing I'm thinking is on the first day of this tournament that all three of these legends played. Messi at the top of the heap, but Mbappe's playing a little bit later, and then Haaland tonight, right? Mm-hmm. And
Jordan.
Those three.
Everybody puts Jordan as one of the all-time greats.
Those three all scored. I mean, Messi ended up with a hat trick, but they all scored at least 2 goals last week. And as Messi was celebrating this second one, I'm like, darn it, I was going to do that. Because I made mention of how if you last week got in on 2 goals for each of those guys, you probably got a pretty nice payday. And I was thinking next time they play, I want to do it, and I forgot.
You forgot.
I mean, I could still do it with Mbappe and Haaland, I suppose. They don't play for a little while yet, but I missed my opportunity with Messi.
This is the point where I say, we'll just take all the soccer questions and pretend to be experts. But it's a little bit not unsettling to me. It just sort of it stands out to me how seemingly unanimous it is. At least this is how it sounds to me with all the World Cup coverage and the tournament ongoing, that he is the best ever. That's just done. We're not even trying to decide that anymore. That's just done. Ronaldo has not scored an important goal for his country in 5 years. So he's disqualified.
It's over now.
Messi is still performing at this level. What is he, 38?
38, yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And he's won.
Yeah, that's I think 4 years ago matters a lot to that. Because I think there was a question on the just like any great player that doesn't have the championship. I mean, he's won league titles and whatever, right? But never this. And so to get this on the resume with the rest of it is just I think you just go, okay, that's an impossible score to beat.
Yeah, it reminds me of Brady a little bit in how it was just sort of done. The conversation ended. This guy is the best ever. And I always resented that. And I'll tell you what. Now, I'm not here to debate with you whether Messi is or isn't the best ever. I'm not
equipped
to that.
To really, yeah.
I mean, I'm not that guy. But one of the announcers today, so the game starts, 5th or 6th minute, there's the penalty. He misses. Later in the first half, my timing isn't good. It's when I'm coming in here. He scores. In that sort of, well, maybe that was right, but whatever. I was listening to the broadcast, and he had scored the goal for 1-0. And, they're talking about what's the difference in the game. And the guy's like, number 10 is the difference in the game. That's it. There's nothing else to really talk about. And he said then, he followed with, if he's on Austria, maybe they're winning 1-0. Okay, well, there's an important point to any sort of analysis where you're trying to, if you're really trying to do it honestly, come down to who is the best ever. Well, if you put him on Austria, he can't be the best ever because who's Austria? They're probably way above what they've been over the last 20 years, but are they winning a World Cup? And is he the leading scorer in the history of the tournament? Argentina, it seems, is loaded with guys who all play for teams I've watched.
Right.
There's none of these like goalkeeper from Cabo Verde who
who was going to retire
on
and
elite.
then he decided to hang around and is one of the coolest stories of the whole tournament.
Like they're all kind of on Champions League level teams.
Yeah, right.
So, Messi can be the best ever. It's not that he's disqualified from that, but it is a big deal that his team is so good and deep. And if he were from Austria, then that he would not have that.
The elevating would be a lot harder. Like
he would have no chance of being the best ever, but he could be the same player.
Yeah.
He might not even play soccer if he were in some other, maybe Austria wouldn't be the best example. It's just who they play today. But if he were from a country that, how many, this is obviously true. Millions of examples maybe in the history of time where the kid doesn't get the backing and the opportunity and then the teammates and the program and the money and the whole thing to support him. And he would have maybe been the best ever. But like that, you can't go that far because that just is a dead end.
Yes. There's no way to really litigate that, I don't think.
But in sports, you always have, and I like this about all of this, like about sports and debating these things, you always have the team context to consider. And I can't tell you what that has meant to Lionel Messi. It seems though maybe it's meant a lot.
Yeah.
Internationally and at the professional at the
it
club
is
level.
worth noting that they've been that level of team his whole career with famous players from all the famous teams like you're talking about in all the biggest leagues in the world. But it took them until 2022 to win the World Cup with him.
And have they not been that country on the world stage forever?
Right. That's why it was so notable. His greatness was still being, I don't know about hotly debated, but he was missing that on his resume. And that they got there, that to me, I'm right back to where we started when you first asked, like, is it over? Like, I think so. I think once he got that World Cup, and now here we are 4 years later, and he's got 5 goals in 2 games in this tournament at the age of, I think he's turning 39 in a couple days. I think.
Oh, wow. I got to make plans.
So it's just, I think it's over. At least for someone, and I don't want to entirely speak for you on this, that is viewing from the distance and the lack of intimate knowledge that I'm viewing from. He seems like an easy person to I don't really want to argue with you. I don't have if you have an argument ready for me, I'm not going to be able to really, I don't think, very well refute you because I'm on the surface level just going, he looks like the best. He's the best.
Doesn't the best ever also have to be a forward? In the same way that maybe the best ever football player has to be a quarterback?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it'd be hard to I think it'd be hard to be the best ever if you're a midfielder and your game is assists and not goals.
Messi is short.
So
if he's a foot taller, if he's playing soccer at
maybe
all,
he's playing a different position. Maybe he's a fullback.
Right.
Right.
And maybe he can do everything that the real Messi can do, but he's 6'5".
Right.
And so he's Virgil van Dijk or somebody
Harry
like that.
Maguire. I don't know. Yeah.
He's my turn. Company. Right? That's part of it too. So it's not to try to remove luck and circumstances from it because they're embedded in the conversation, and that's fine. Just kind of fun to imagine different possibilities here, but yeah, like I was thinking about Josh Allen for this. Like, is Josh Allen the best player in Bills history? To me, he's second.
Bruce
Smith is probably, for me, still number 1. But then, now you can get really tied up, but which player is more important, or was, to the success of the Bills? Would the Bills have not gone to Super Bowls without Bruce Smith? They often won their division going away. They played at home in the playoffs every year. This is not to take anything away from him, but did he mean so much to their results that you could say that? They'd be like, would never have. But there's not even a conversation about Allen for this. There's no chance the Bills, if they had replacement level quarterback play, they would have not even made the playoffs the last 5 years.
In part because they don't have anyone that's even close to Bruce Smith on their defense. Right?
Yeah, maybe it would work the other way.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Jones is somebody that, like, you can't just leave out of the conversation on Kansas City. But still, come on.
Right. Yes. Come on is right. It's just it's so different.
We got a call the other day, and it was something that was already on my mind. I forget right now who the caller brought up, but there was a Dan Lebitard show conversation back in the, I think I might have mentioned it the other day when the caller came on the show, about Wembanyama during the Western Conference Finals.
Looking so like they'd done it.
This is the best player of all time, is the conversation they had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Dan, but the guy was like, I know. He's 24 or something. 22, and you can't be the best ever when you just got here. But the guy's argument was, nobody has ever played like this.
That I think is correct.
Right?
Yep.
So does that not qualify you for best ever? Like, what are we trying to figure out? Best career? It's like when we do the power rankings, and when people get right in your face about our process, you're like, this is not the standings. I can see who the all-time leading scorer is. I can see most wins in baseball or something. I can see most touchdown passes, but this is not the standings. This is who is actually the best. And the guy, I don't know the guy's name, but it was a Twitter clip, like 2 minutes long. It's like, well, this is the best basketball that any particular person has ever played. And it's not just for one night. I mean, it's for a couple years, but it's not for 20 years either. It's not just like one game where somebody poured in. Who was the guy that poured in like 80 points or something?
I still don't think you qualify as the best ever at 22. As unique as your skill set may be, we need to see what that's going to amount to. And that sort of cycles back to the point you're making about Messi and opportunity. And he's from a country that's been enough of a powerhouse that's surrounded with elite players, and Wembanyama is going to have to lead the Spurs or some other team someday, somewhere that matters, and have championships in addition to all the triple doubles and all the 35-foot as a 7'5" man three-pointers he throws in. As unique as that is, it needs to result in titles. Otherwise, you're almost DQ'd from the conversation of being the greatest ever until that happens. You need that on the resume. So, most uniquely talented, a spectacle. I mean, it's absolutely what drew me into the NBA playoffs this year. Once he had that game one in the Western Conference Final against OKC, I felt like this is something I don't want to miss. And he never had another game quite like that. I mean, that was an incredible performance. The stat line was insanity. But still, unique, a spectacle. These are things that I think I would say about Wembanyama way before I would say he's the greatest ever.
That's right.
Couldn't get there.
That's what everybody would do. Like, nobody wants – that's what was interesting about it. This probably was a show the morning after that game.
Yeah.
Where, like, nobody wants to do best ever with somebody who's so young.
Right.
But what did McDavid do in hockey? He brought that out. McDavid in how long? 2 years? 3 years was evoking conversations about not whether he would ever be called the best ever when he's 21, but has anybody ever actually been better than this guy?
Is this the greatest looking player you've ever seen? Yeah, that happened almost right away with him.
And now he's, 11 years in? Which is insane that Eichel and McDavid are 11 years ago.
Yep.
But how close is he? But he doesn't have a cup. He has a Conn Smythe.
Mm-hmm. Won it last year in a losing cause.
But I guess he needed to win one of those, or else,
or he still has to,
or for there to be the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball is easy. Like, the best player in the NBA wins the championship eventually.
Right.
I mean, LeBron has 4. It took him a while, but he's won 4. Like, there's none of that anymore.
Jokic has 1. He already has done that, at least that. And he's one of the guys that I think would qualify as, like, is he the best player in the league, or was maybe a year or two ago? But whatever, they won. So that you need that.
Giannis,
right?
I mean, in that sport, you kind of it's kind of a given that you have to win, or else what's wrong with you? But hockey can't be like that. Baseball can't even really be like that. football can be if you're a quarterback. This is Allen's challenge.
Right. That's the catch there.
He's not there. He's 30 now. He's not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be hotly debated as it already is, but as his career goes on, like what is it really like a blemish on him that he doesn't have one? Most people I think would say yes. And as it happens, that argument was tougher until this last game, in the Denver game, when it's not Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow, and there's a pile of turnovers.
Right.
Like then, that's one where you can maybe
you'd have kept yourself pretty clean. You probably win that game by 10.
Yeah, that could be the game if they don't ever get there that stands out as the one, because you can make excuses for the Bills because of Kansas City. But I'm not sure you can do that for Denver. Even Cincinnati.
I think that's pretty fair.
Well, again, like I said first, it's a little bit unsettling that Messi is so close to unanimous. I don't know about Pele or Maradona or John McEntee, the other greats of the game over the years that are before or mostly before my time. So there it is. Argentina wins. And next is France and Iraq throughout the record books. I think that's at 5, maybe. It's a little bit later.
Yeah, the games are staggered
8,
differently
11.
today than they were often. Often it's been like 12, 3, 6, and 9, and I think today is like 1, 4, 7, and 9 or something.
Are you ready with takes on Team USA strategy for Game 3?
I mean, other than they shouldn't bother playing anyone.
Sit everybody?
Yeah. I mean, that seems obvious. Why?
Okay. Yeah.
Why risk it? I mean, yeah, and who knows? Maybe everyone gets something out of it if they end up, if somebody who wasn't going to play gets to play and gets to play like big minutes, maybe you stick around in this thing long enough that dude is needed again. And whatever butterflies or nervousness they might have had about stepping onto the pitch for the first time in the World Cup, that goes away because you're gonna take care of that. What do they play Thursday night?
Thursday night.
So
late.
I think that can't be a bad thing. And if the result is totally irrelevant, which it is, then get some guys some experience, rest everyone else, and hopefully be at your best when the next game that matters comes up.
Balogun, the goal scorer, who has a yellow card now, I heard that if he doesn't play, there's no carryover.
No carryover. Okay.
So
the danger would be him getting another one, and then he
in
might
the group stage.
Right.
But that would be the end of the group stage.
So then everybody gets a clean sheet. Okay. See, I didn't know that.
I love this thing. It's getting me through the summer. My streak is over.
I would imagine you had some travel. It would be hard to see a bit of every game if you're on the road for half of the weekend.
Yeah. I was watching a little bit of every game. Then I thought or Friday, I watched USA and then continued to drive. The weekend, it would not be possible to do that. But I was counting listening to the games as not watching them, not the audiobook thing.
You're taking it in.
I'm consuming every game. Yep. But it was Japan versus Tunisia at maybe midnight on Saturday. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just
reasonable.
We got to get up in the morning for lacrosse, and I've had enough. And then after that, the streak ends. Yesterday's all about golf.
Yeah,
I didn't watch any soccer
Saturday, too. Although once the golf was over both nights, last night and Saturday night, I did get right to, where Fox or Fox Sports 1, where are we? And I just, got it out. But, yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday I didn't do much watching of anything from, noon until 8 o'clock, honestly. I just saw the end of Saturday's round in the golf and then pivoted to some soccer, and that was it. Sunday was all golf, until it was over. When it was over, we went to Cape Verde and who was that last night? The draw. It was a 2-2 draw. That was on.
I don't even know.
I think Uruguay. It was Uruguay, thank you. It was 2-1 Uruguay when we turned it on, and Verde got the tying goal, and that was so I was there.
That Verde is plucky.
Yeah.
I am so eager to talk about the Open and the crowd that I couldn't even wait until today to bug you about it. I was texting Bulldog yesterday, what is this? Does this make sense? Who are you rooting for? Because you had our bet, and you didn't have Clark, and you did have Scheffler, and I thought this can wait. I want to just sort of mention this, and then we'll get into it. I thought maybe you would have sort of felt Clark a little bit, like as an underdog, and they're all just hating on him in that place. But you were not that. You were absolutely, you said anybody but him. Like, what did I not know about this guy? And there was stuff
There's
that
a lot.
I didn't know.
And he talked last night, obviously, after winning, and so there's even like another page to me to the story that we haven't talked about too. So
that's coming up. Brian Koziol will join us at 4. Brian and I take it down in the Pick 10 going into the Open Championship in about a month. Paul Hamilton at 6, the NHL draft this weekend in Buffalo. We'll talk about the Panthers-Senators trade, Brady Tkachuk to Florida, and some Bill stuff, as always, as we go through the day. 803-0550 for your calls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
Just tell you what I'm watching that thinking, like you go, of course, there's Argentinians and Argentina fans that live in America, and maybe even Austrian fans that live in America, and Austrian fans who traveled. But if you're just like a guy or a girl or a father, and you decided you wanted to go to a World Cup game, and this was the one that worked for you. Flights worked best for you.
Dallas.
Schedule worked, whatever. You can get there easily. You're there, and just how incredible it would be to go to a sporting event where one of the very best players to ever participate in the sport is taking part, and he scores 2 goals. or she, whatever. Like you go for that and you get it. And in this case, after him missing a penalty kick very early in the match, which would have given him the all-time World Cup goals record, and now he has it +1 because he scored shortly after he had the miss, and then another one here at the end. And that's just such a great score to have on the board. Like I was there when Messi set the all-time World Cup goals record. And it's just a lot of sports don't always deliver, or the athlete that you're thinking of as like the reason you're at an event. It's hard. It's a team sport, and they don't always have the opportunity. We've talked about this for years with hockey versus, say, basketball, where it's way more available. Still doesn't always happen, but it's more available for the guy that you're there to see taking over the game, whereas in hockey it's a little more complicated. This is just amazing to me that you'd get that. You make that choice, make those arrangements, go, and you get this. It's just so great.
It does. It is interesting. It does sort of lock in the experience as one that you will, remember for many years.
Right.
I remember going to see the Mets with my friend, taking the Amtrak all the way into New York City and then going to a Met game. And first time there, walking into the stadium, New York City, immediately approached by an usher. You guys want to sit here? $20 each for the weekend, just immediately pitched. So we say yes. And bottom of the first inning, Darryl Strawberry comes up against Rick Mailer, who was then with the Reds.
Narrative that Wyndham Clark's not necessarily a popular guy, and that contributes to it. Okay, but Long Island golf fans are a stain on the game of golf.
Wow.
That's what we saw at Bethpage. It's what we see every single time we go to Long Island. And this isn't a New York problem, which you hear a lot as well. It doesn't happen at Wingfoot. It doesn't happen at Baltusrol on the other side of the Hudson River. It happens on Long Island every single time. I've argued on this show that the PGA of America is supposed to go back to Bethpage in 2033 with the PGA Championship. That should not happen. These people do not deserve a major championship.
Well, I guess Rochester is off the hook then,
Right.
being on this side of the Hudson.
Man, that is strong.
Eamon Lynch, I believe, right?
Yep.
Well, the U.S. Open is booked like through 2051 or something. So I'm not sure anybody gets their tournament taken away.
Right. Well, he sounds like he's suggesting they take the PGA away from Bethpage whenever. I don't remember what year he said.
33.
Back there. Yeah.
31.
So
those are years.
Yes.
Apparently.
Those are years.
What happened to the 85? Yeah. That's a year. That's a year, baby, right there. 85. That's a number. I hate it too. I don't know what you do about it.
How obnoxious
I hate it.
are. Yeah.
I hate it. It's so uncomfortable. I live for that day on the sports calendar. But with Clark, who I didn't think I was supposed to hate going into the weekend, but okay, there was stuff. I didn't have that attitude sitting down to watch it or even driving home listening to it. And I got home and he'd already dropped 3 shots on the front and the lead was down to 1. And the crowd was so brutal for golf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't think I want to watch this. Really, like I love that day.
That's
I didn't think I wanted to watch it.
Yeah,
because I just didn't want to hear like fans burping out, "Get in the bunker," when the ball just takes flight. It just seems so stupid.
Yeah.
So I was very much sympathetic to him, and that's when I go to Twitter, and then I see what I see on Twitter about him, and he's not popular, and then I go to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, well. Now I at least have some background on why people don't like this guy. But I couldn't get myself to, and I'm eager to hear what you say about this, that what happened in the locker room at Oakmont had little, if anything, to do with these knuckleheads screaming at him on the golf course yesterday. Like, are these people, are the same people that would do that? Who would ever yell anything at a golf tournament, right? Are the same people that would yell insults at a golf tournament so sophisticated in their golf knowledge that they're like, oh, no, you don't understand. He busted up a locker room once.
Well, there were people that were, I read, removed from the course for yelling, "Bad day to be a locker," after he hit a bad shot.
Yep.
So
there's a couple.
I think that's where it starts. I think really, for me, with him, a month before the locker thing, he busted up a tee box at I don't remember the name of it. You can Google it.
All right.
Just a
Dandy Farms.
another tournament. He like threw his driver, and I don't remember exactly what happened. If he like destroyed the tee marker with it or some signage, and there was a volunteer nearby that may have gotten hit by some piece of what broke or whatever. And like that was the first moment for me. I was like, who are you? Like, and why are you such a jerk? Like, I just don't. So I already had and then the U.S. Open thing happens. He misses the cut, smashes up a couple of lockers, and it's like, I don't know, like throwing the driver is at least in a moment where you've just hit a bad shot. We've all been there, and you feel like an idiot after you react or overreact, but at least it's in a moment where the frustration is immediate. Like, I'm standing here, I just hit a ball into a ravine in a professional tournament where I'm competing for money. Okay, I'm mad. The locker thing is, how long does it take you you've missed the cut. You've gone and signed your card. I assume you still have to talk to your family and friends and your group, whatever, and then you're in the locker room, and then you're busting up a locker or two lockers. I had real trouble respecting the guy because of that. Like that's not. I mean, that's a hell of a slow burn to get to. I'm going to break some stuff that is not mine, and oh, by the way, happens to be property of one of the most legendary golf venues in the world. Okay, You're not my dude. Like, I'm never going to root for you. Your name's Wyndham on top of that. Like, I don't know.
Not his fault.
I know, but, like, I have a real hard, like, I just can't get there. I don't mean to judge people who have creative names or their parents I'm just not. It's like rooting for Davis Love III. What am I doing here?
He sounds like money.
Like, I just can't, and I have no idea if that's even correct, but my walking off point is tough. This is all a big preamble to tell you, like, of course, that's why, and you know all of this now. You're just hearing it from me here for the first time. That's the walking off point. And then I thought in our exchange last night, you made all the right points about what else is happening now, right? He's run away with the tournament. He's made the tournament not fun, basically. Like, you're probably not going to bet on him after Thursday because he's way out in front. And so now what? I'm picking someone else that has better odds. So I'm now predisposed, whether I know about the Oakmont locker thing or the tee box the month before that, if I know any of this stuff, I'm now rooting against him because I have money on someone else if I'm gambling on this. So, like, there's that. If you're not even gambling, you just want to see a good, competitive, exciting golf tournament, it took until 5 o'clock yesterday for that to happen. Like, the whole thing was just, it felt over like midway through Saturday. So there's all of that. I thought he did as good a job with all of that in mind afterward, explaining everything and talking it through. And, we'll see if he blows a fuse again. I might be someone who won't be ready to forgive him again. But I thought he was as good as you could be talking about all of it yesterday afterward, and really as good as you can be in the face of it while competing. Yep. He was in a lot of trouble Saturday and Sunday. That's another part of the frustration, I think, for fans who weren't backing him for whatever reason, be it gambling or just, morally or ethically, whatever. They just don't like the fact that he did what he did. At Oakmont, he just kept barely escaping disaster. It's like, you see him hit a ball into the stuff. You're like, oh boy. Like, oh, he's actually got a pretty clean lie in here. That, like, kept happening to him.
4.
Felt like, right? Just like
the up and down on 4.
He just kept getting away with his wayward shots, and, you got to have some luck, I guess, so.
Well, there's skill in that, too.
Sure there is. And also executing those shots that you're recovering All of it.
How many 8 to 10 footers did he make?
I just thought he did a great job considering what he was facing, which made me have a harder time just holding against him all the stuff that preceded the weekend.
Yeah.
So like I'm not buying a Wyndham Clark jersey or anything. I'm not going to consider myself a fan, but I don't think the next time I see him, I'm going to hate him as much as I did, because I think he really stood tall through a lot of crap on the weekend.
Me too.
His playing, especially in, I don't know how much the jeering and the whatever could affect you, but it certainly could have some effect on your mental state and your nerves and whatever. So all that, plus the challenge of staying, keeping it out of the ditch on that golf course, literally and figuratively, I think he really did a great job.
I thought he was a great sport, summing up some of what you were saying there when it was over. How he and his caddy were having fun whenever somebody would compliment him on the course. There's one.
Right.
Like, I thought that was funny. If Scheffler makes half the 8-footers this guy made, Scheffler wins in a runaway, but he's kind of a dud now. And fully to his credit, Clark, however you do it, you did it. That's a U.S. Open at a classic golf course, and that's 2 in 4 years.
Right.
So you got to give the guy his credit. I don't know. Saturday was strange in how I watched a lot of it from a hotel room. And just couldn't believe how, like, no one was there.
Yeah, that was
the crowd cleared out.
Really noticeable on Saturday night.
And, announcers now are almost always just not going to mention stuff like that or talk about how great the fans are. Like, wait a minute. Am I the only one here? I was the only one in my room. Am I the only one watching this? Kind of wondering, like, where is everybody?
Right.
It's the Open on. I know he's ahead, but these things don't end on Saturday.
Right.
You buy a ticket like that, you're just going to leave? There's nobody else on the golf course anymore after Clark.
Yeah, 18 on Saturday night looked like the finish up of your club championship.
It was empty.
Maybe at best. Like
it was
maybe
empty.
there would even be more people around the 18th green at the club championship than there were around that green. It was really stark.
They're not taking, I think, tournaments away from places like Shinnecock Hills. At least the golf course attended to it and got people out of there. The worst fans in sports, by a mile, are the ones that think they're entitled to enter the arena, vocally or in some other way. They are the worst people in sports if you just think, like, I paid my money, I can say whatever I want. We sat in front of people at that Bruins game that you would never want to run into in society.
Yeah.
Because what they were talking about was so offensive and like, oh, what do you mean? I mean, I didn't confront them, and I still kind of regret it.
And I didn't either. I mean, it was obnoxious, more than obnoxious.
And you can go to a lot of games and listen to garbage, and think, why doesn't anybody do anything about this? But that's not always going to happen. And it's one thing. These hockey fans were not affecting the play at all. But they couldn't hold back on their thoughts about a player or two. And I paid my money. I'm here to make ssure everybody knows how I feel about this. And just like, how obnoxious is that? But the golf fans who are in there shouting at guys that think like, oh, I'm entitled to this.
Yeah.
Why does golf have to be so demure? Why does golf have to be different?
Well, the thing about all of this too, to me, is that to a certain extent, I feel like golf, the tour, has invited it in a certain way with how they handle the Waste Management Open in Phoenix every year. Like they're leaning into, this is rowdy, throw the beer cans. Like I doubt they're encouraging people to do that, but they're certainly tolerating it, right? You got guys making birdies on that hole. This is in Phoenix I'm talking about, taking their shirts off, like players. And that's all, like, that's a good time. And I think that sort of opens the gate to, well, why can't we do this here? Well, I live on Long Island. I'm not going to Phoenix so I can yell mashed potatoes at a golfer. I'm going to do it here. I live an hour away. So I think to an extent the tour has tried to sort of, appeal to that fan base. And what you get with it is some runoff that you are absolutely not, you don't want to accept it, but it naturally happens.
It's kind of amazing to me that this happened yesterday to an American.
Right.
And I think maybe you said it. Betting, I don't think I was right in the end. I thought everybody's betting on everything now. You can do that in New York State, as we know. And there was no way to bet on Clark yesterday. You wake up in the morning, I'm going to this thing. Maybe I can help myself to win by getting in his head. And you couldn't bet on Clark. He was too big a favorite. There's nothing interesting about that. Everybody else, bigger prices. A lot of guys you could pick from. Burns, all the other ones, Scheffler. And so, all right, well, I got $100 for this. And I'm going to get in there and see if I can help myself. And so I thought middle of the round, if I'm right about in this theory, because I didn't really know about the locker room or the tee box thing, that maybe this just gets worse. And it really didn't. It really didn't.
Yeah.
They took care of some people.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the fans kind of came around to the job the guy was doing, holding off the field and holding off the crowd. And at the end of it, I don't know. I mean, no pun intended, but that's a golf clap right there at the end of that thing. Like, you know what? I didn't like you, but good job.
Yeah, I
That
don't
was really
remember
good.
how much trouble he would have gotten in on, say, holes 14 through 18, right? I don't have it committed to memory, but I know there was a point in watching it where I stopped sort of complaining about when he saved, he saves par with a 12-footer. Like, okay.
Well, he had one shot late in the round where he was I know this is your word, but fescue.
Sure, yeah.
And he almost made it. And he just sort of a couple of inches out and tapped in. Like that's one
maybe
where
that was the one, right?
Okay.
Nothing
lucky.
This is undeniable here. I got a hat tip,
That's right.
I don't like you I think I have valid reasons to not be rooting for I don't know the guy, but I think I have valid reasons not to be rooting for you, but this is hard to ignore what you're doing. So maybe that did happen. It's funny. I was watching yesterday almost the entirety of what I got to my sister's house around 4:30, 4:15. So I don't know where in the round is an hour or two into the final pairings round. I didn't have the sound down at all. So my sister had music playing. I'm watching with no commentary at all. So I don't know. On Twitter, I can look and see, and you're texting me. So I know it's still what it had been. But I didn't really get that experience because like you might be if you're watching in a bar, which I often will do too, you often aren't going to have the volume.
Jacob Sanderson was another one, and I texted him. I said, what's the deal? And he said, well, he says things instead of let's have a glass of wine, let's crack some grape. So I took that to my dad's house, and we all talked about cracking some grape. And then Clark was actually asked about that at the end of his press conference. Like, is it time was it crack? I know he said grape. Grape is wine. So let's open some grape. And all right, nobody likes a guy like that.
No.
But, I don't know. It's good to have somebody to root against in golf. You always want that in sports.
Yeah.
Brian Koziel coming up in a little bit more than 15 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Brian Koziol coming up. Only time for a quick trivia question.
Okay.
Over under 500 for his career. How many penalty minutes did Gilbert Perreault have?
I'm going to say under.
Incorrect.
How badly did I miss?
Not much. Not badly at all. He had exactly 500 penalty minutes.
Really?
Yeah. So you could have, I guess, said that was exactly the number, and that would have been amazing.
If I had known that, yeah, right. I do not have that committed to memory.
23rd most in Sabres history. Brian Koziol after this on WGR.
It is draft week in the NHL, and this year's edition is going to be held right here in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Ahead of that, though, Darren Drager of TSN is reporting the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending free agent forward Alex Tuch. Drager also reporting the Sabres, along with a number of teams, remain very active in trade scenarios. We'll get the latest on the Sabres when Paul Hamilton joins the show a little bit later on at 6. Big news in college basketball today. Michigan head coach Dusty May is leaving college and heading to the NBA, where he is reportedly finalizing a deal to become the next head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. Over in the World Cup, we've got history today. Lionel Messi, following his 2 goals today, now has 18 at the World Cup. That is the most all-time in a career. Argentina did go on to beat Austria 2-0 earlier today. We've got still about an hour till the next game at 5, France versus Iraq in Philadelphia. Kylian Mbappe, by the way, has 14 goals in his World Cup career. In New Jersey at 8, we'll have Norway versus Senegal. And at 11, to wrap up the evening, Jordan, they take on Algeria in San Francisco. Then in baseball, Yankees at Detroit at 6:10. 7:07, the Jays have the Astros in town. And then at 7:10, the Mets, they host the Cubs. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
It's nothing you did.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you. It's you, but you didn't cross me.
And the Bulldog.
Why did I choose? Why did I just stay in school?
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Pardon me for the slight delay. I was, I'm going to say fetching the Pick 10 history notebook page. Put Wyndham Clark on there again. 2023. Guess who had the U.S. Open in 2023? Bulldog. Guess who we didn't pick? Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
Couldn't really blame me either time.
Someday I'll learn.
What were his odds? Do you know? Where was he? Outside of the top 20, probably?
I saw reference to someone who said before the tournament began, they got him at 45-1, I think.
That probably would have been outside.
Yeah.
Worse than Koepka, say.
That depending where you look, though. So maybe right around there.
Brian Koziel, Wester Hotline. Brian, do you know how big of an underdog was Clark? Probably.
He was on FanDuel, just because I luckily had him. He was plus 5,000.
Okay, right.
Look at you, double win.
Yeah, I forgot, Brian, that you told me you divulged to us on Friday that you had side action. Yeah.
How many guys do you bet?
Usually 3 to 4, and I had McIntyre, Spawn, and Clark at small amounts to win, but I'm looking down the board at who could give a big payout, and I got a nice one there with Clark.
And your guy Jeff Blank had Clark on. He gives you 4 or 5 choices, and I think 2 of them were top 5s, and he had the winner there.
Jeff now picked 5 winners this year, and he had Clark, and he had Tom Kim. I don't know where he got that from. He follows this model. He follows the numbers, and he had Kim there and Scheffler there and Fitzpatrick too. So he had 4 guys that all had a chance to win. So yeah, he did a great job. So I'm going to keep listening to him too. Was
there anything in particular about Clark that you liked?
Well, he had been trending well lately, but they said that he's been really, really putting a lot better, and I just know that's always a key factor coming into this event. Also, when they said they widened the fairways a little bit more, I know that was one of the things that he said helped him at LACC. It was a similar setup there, wider fairways, and the green complexes were the challenge at LACC, and I think that's kind of similar to how Shinnecock plays. So, that was, a minor thing, but he was trending well. He played well at the Canadian Open 2 weeks ago. He had won recently, so I'm like, he kind of fits this mentality of playing harder courses well. So that was just kind of some of the gut instinct of going with that too.
What kind of conversations, if any, were you having with people in your circles, Brian, about the crowds and about how how tough everyone seemed to be on Clark?
Yeah, I think it was surprising in the sense that tournament. Now, I hadn't been there the last time it was there when Koepka won. I was not there. But when I was at Shinnecock in 2004 when Goosen won, I remember that event being as quiet of a major as I had ever been to. It just seemed as though, not to label it like it was a wine and cheese crowd because it was in the Hamptons, but it was definitely a more quieter, refined crowd in terms of maybe what I had experienced when I had seen spectators at other majors. I think a big piece of that is that the location. It's so difficult to get to. It's so expensive to get out there. And I know they said the daily average attendance was like 20,000, 25,000. It's much less than like 40,000, like at Oak Hill. Now, I know you're asking me more about the crowd getting on Clark. Yeah. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact that of what happened at Oakmont last year with the locker incident and the fact that people had thought maybe he should have been suspended for this year's U.S. Open. Officially still Oakmont has suspended him, but they thought maybe the USGA, they thought maybe an appropriate discipline for what had happened last year when he destroyed a couple of lockers in Oakmont's historic locker room would have been, hey, maybe he's suspended for this year's U.S. Open. Ultimately, that didn't happen, and I think that was a big reason why. Now, Scheffler is going to be popular.
Right.
That's a piece, too. Also, Clark had a huge lead. So if you're there on Sunday, you might be wanting to have some excitement in terms of a close finish. So I feel like all of that was there, is that you've got the big lead. Well, people want to see it be close. So you're going to root against Clark anyway. I don't know, Mike, if you said it or somebody said it about like betting, if people were betting something, Clark was like probably minus, a gazillion here going into Sunday because he was up by so much. So nobody's even taking him there. And Scheffler being very popular, that was a player that was chasing him down. So I think all of that going into it maybe had something to do with it. But I know just listening to some of the analysis on Golf Channel with some of their experts and analysis, they had said that they thought it was as bad as that they've seen outside of the Ryder Cup in any major for any player. But an American player on American soil, like that's a unique thing. Like, yeah, guys can, maybe when they're playing, when they were playing in Ireland at Royal Portrush, when the Open's there, maybe they can get on them a little here or there. Or we know like Garcia has gotten treated poorly sometimes.
Colin Montgomery, we've heard.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, there's some incidents here and there, but for an American player on American soil that doesn't really have a long track record of like being in the know or in the know there. I mean, it was just I think it had to have been mostly though about that locker room incident and people maybe thinking that maybe he kind of got free for what should have been maybe an incident that he should have been penalized for.
I can't think of anything close to it in this way. I can't think of any other example where an American player was treated so badly at home. And I didn't remember the Oakmont thing. I'm texting Bulldog and other friends like, what did I miss about this guy? Like I don't even really get why Scheffler is that popular. I mean, maybe you want to be able to say you were at the career Grand Slam event. Nobody even seemed to really talk about that. It wasn't like McIlroy doing it. McIlroy, I understand. I feel like his popularity makes sense. Right. Scheffler isn't McIlroy.
He hasn't been waiting. He hasn't been waiting that long.
Well, that too. He just turned 30 yesterday.
Right, and only arrived on the scene like 3 or 4 years ago as like a major, winning, greatest golfer guy.
Right. So I'm asking around, and it's like this thing that happened at Oakmont. Bulldog's like, his name is Wyndham. Like, okay, but that's not his fault.
No, it's not.
Just maybe sort of silver spoon. Another friend said, well, his slice is unwatchable. Like, well, isn't it always in the fairway? What are we trying to figure out here?
Right.
What's the name of the game? I mean, get the ball in the hole. He seemed pretty good at that. And then it was open some grape.
Yeah.
In a way to describe opening wine, drinking a glass of. All right, well, he's annoying maybe, but
is he not very slow too, Brian?
He was yesterday.
He's a slow player
all week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, I mean, probably a combination of everything that you just listed, but I mean, it didn't, to me, even if you felt, any of those feelings that you just brought up, like it didn't, to me, get to the point where it should have reached the level that it did. I thought it was definitely a little definitely too much than what it should have been. But I will say this: being at the Ryder Cup last year at Bethpage, when people say something and then the crowd reacts, like it just fuels that type of person that's at these events. Like, hey, next time when that guy's in his backswing, I'm going to yell something, or because it's just, and everybody's got their phones out, and I mean, I sound like my grandfather right now. My apologies. Like everybody's got their phones out. They're looking for that viral moment. As soon as they swing, they yell something, and they want to be that guy that's on TV or on camera. Like, I don't know. I feel like that fuels the fire a little bit when somebody yells something about Clark, and then everybody reacts and laughs or thinks it's funny, or it goes viral, and now I'm going to be the guy that does it next, mentality.
Brian, something that I mentioned in talking about this in our first hour together today is that, to me, the PGA Tour, like golf in general, with how they handle Arizona every year, has to an extent, I think, invited some sort of just a rowdier fan. Because they're they lean into that with that, that famous hole is at 16. I'm sorry, I don't remember which hole. All right, at the Waste Management every winter, it's throwing the beer cans and guys are taking their shirts off if they make the birdie on that hole, and there's just a very much a frat boy kind of vibe to that. And to me, like the flip side is I think you get more people willing to try to make a spectacle out of it when it's not the Waste Management Open.
I think you're right. And I think, let's face it, too, for whatever contingent of people that liked Live, there was a piece of how that was marketed that way. What their tagline was like, it's golf but louder. Like,
right.
That the raucous atmosphere. Hey, what other sports have tapped into, and that type of crowd. Maybe there's a lane for it in golf. To me, the Phoenix Open still for me works, because it's once a year, and it's essentially almost one hole. So to me, I'm okay with that. That's why, to me, again, this is just me speaking. That's why for me, Live, I wasn't going to get into it, because every hole, every event, like that runs tired to me very, very quickly. Right. I think if we had hole 16 at the Phoenix Open every week, I think it wouldn't be, I guess, as unique or maybe as enjoyable for people. But you're right. The PGA Tour, up until a few years ago, really leaned into the rowdiness at Phoenix, and that was one of their signature spots to come watch a tournament, and they promoted that. Golf sets up. It's so different because forever, obviously, golf was the game where everybody was quiet, and you only get the respectful golf clap, and there wasn't a lot of yelling and trying to get into guys' heads. It was known for being like, hey, this is the sport with the most sportsmanship of anybody. Guys call penalties on themselves and all that sort of stuff. So it has turned a little, and maybe they feel like there's a marketing effort that, hey, we're tapping into an audience that maybe we wouldn't normally have, that other sports have, and they're trying to go there. I guess maybe that's what it is. I'm not watching golf to hear stupid things in the crowd or be loud or whatever it is. Like that.
Who is?
Have that lane.
Who is?
Right.
I don't get. I just don't get so much of this. I don't get the cameras, the phones. It's already being broadcast. Why do I need to have my own videos of watching John Rahm swing a 5-iron? I don't get that. I don't get any of the shouting. It's just for the people doing it. No community of spectators is impressed with that or amused or interested at all. It's just for the people doing it who can say, I guess that's something maybe you just want to walk around with in your pocket for the rest of your life as you yelled Baba Booey at the Phoenix Open. Just who cares? Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the little videos that everybody else is watching anyway. And nobody's impressed when you yell, get in the bunker. I'm not to sound like Brian's grandparents. Right. But I just have that Phoenix Open looks like hell to go to. I just would go to the Kentucky Derby if you want to be in a mass of people screaming all the time and whatever else. Okay.
No, well, I think you're right. And I'll just to finish my end of this here. For Clark, to me, if it was about the locker thing, I thought he did as good of a job as he could have this week when he was asked about it. And he was asked about it almost every day because he was in the lead. Yeah. And he had, he held long press conferences because he's the leader every day. I thought from what he said, it sounded as genuine of apology as possible. I love the fact that he owned up to it. I love the fact that he said he even sought help about it in terms of how he was going to behave going forward. He's like, I know I lost fans. I'm hoping I win them back with how I behave going forward or how I handle myself. So, yes, he owned up to it. He didn't say oh, moving on, or I'm not talking about that.
Right,
that was last year. He didn't brush it aside like we've seen many do so often. So for as much, I don't need to sit here and praise Wyndham Clark, but I at least want to give him credit for the sense that he owned up to it. He says he knows he made an error. He said it was an error of judgment. He's like, that's not who I am, kind of thing. Like, at least he owned up to it, apologized, and he's trying to make amends.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that point because I mentioned earlier, like for all the, his name's Wyndham and how long he takes to play in the locker. And there was a thing before the locker where he wrecked a tee box and then threw his driver and all this. He's been grating on me for a while. I thought after he won, he was great.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I think he did and frankly, that he had to grind through not only the course, but, the emotions of everyone jeering at him the way they were for most of the entire thing, even. I don't know if that's too much. Certainly Saturday and Sunday. I don't know. I'm as close to at least being neutral and not wanting to hate on him because I really do think he handled himself as well as one could in the spot he was in.
I agree. And the interaction with his family and then his father who surprised him, I don't know if you stayed with it after 18 there, like that, another kind of humanizing moment to realize, like, hey, I know these guys live lives that maybe we can't ever fathom being and having, but they're still dad there on 18, and that was a cool moment for me on, there's always the Father's Day U.S. Open stories. I thought, that was another nice one.
With Brian Koziol, what do you want to say about Scheffler after this? I mean, he really gave himself chances by getting into the last group, and Clark came back to the field, so it wasn't like he had no chance of catching up. But it's another recent major where you just really couldn't trust Scheffler on the green, or just the two out of that one bunker on one hole. I don't know. Like, are we down on him? Are we not? Is it more that where do you finish? Top 10, probably. It's still for most guys a good week, but for him, you're talking about wins or else whatever. I don't know. What do you want to say about his week?
Maybe you can spin it, which I'll do here, and say it's a compliment to him that now our standards with him are so high that if he doesn't win, we view it as a disappointing week. When you finish top 5 in another major and don't win, we view it as a disappointment. It's almost Tiger-like in that sense. Tiger would have viewed where he finished as a disappointment, and maybe Scheffler we kind of view as that as well. He has admittedly said, he's like, I'm not as sharp as I was as my game was last year. There's still some things that I'm trying to work on. His approach shots in the greens, to me, that I saw a statistical difference that he's double-digit feet away from the hole more this year than he had been the last 3 years. So he's not as precise, where he was just rushing the field with the strokes gained on approach shots, and he was setting himself up for birdies all the time. This year has probably cost him the most out of any of the statistics. He actually statistically is putting better in terms of strokes gained. So that's the part to me. He's just a little less sharp, but I guess for as much as we say, well, this is not a Scotty year, I still will give him credit in the sense that, okay, he doesn't have his, again, to reference Tiger, he doesn't have his A game, but he still puts himself in position to win. So maybe I'll sit here and give it more appreciation of just how good he is, that we know golf, that all the ebbs and flows and ups and downs that guys have during the course of years and years and years of, like, hey, you lose it. I mean, even for amateur players, when we all play, like, you have these weeks where you feel like you're getting better, and then you have these weeks where you're like, I want to quit golf, I'm terrible. Like, it happens all the time. And for Scheffler to finish top 5 with still maybe feeling like I don't have my right game on maybe the hardest course they're going to play all year, I guess I'll more so give him a compliment in that area.
I like that you mentioned the approach shots, because without like studying the data here, like anecdotally watching golf the last couple of years, I feel like the most frequent occurrence is him sticking it within 10 feet from 175 yards away. You turn the golf on, like, here's Scheffler, right there. There it is, another, and that is it seems more elusive to him this year.
He did finish tied for 4th. 3-way tie for 4th.
Yeah. Here's the stat. Last year, the last 3 years, he averaged his approach shot 21 feet to the flag. This year, it's 33. So it's 12 more feet this year, his average. Yeah.
You know who really should have won? Neiman. So Joaquin Neiman finishes tied for 7th, 1 over. Do you know where this is going?
I don't. I know there was something. He had the 2-stroke penalty for, he threw a club or something on Thursday?
He lost his mind on a hole where he eventually made an 11, including the 2-stroke penalty.
Right.
And he just, he lost his temper. It's a par 4. He made an 11, 7 over, take that hole out, 71 other holes. He was -6. How do you even make the cut?
I know.
After an 11 on Thursday.
I kept being surprised when I saw him on Saturday and even on Sunday because I'd read about this 11 and just thought he has to be going home. But there he was.
Yeah, he shot 65 on Friday to make the cut after 78, including that 11. And it was like a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
That they called like a violent, what's the rule, Brian? Like a violent reaction or something. He threw a club and they gave him 2 more after a 9. Or during a 9, it might have even been not even over yet.
I think it was during the. I don't know if he knew as he was playing, but yeah, like they decided in the moment there, like we're dinging him.
You putt out for a 9, and there's the official like boom, 2 more.
That's actually an 11.
Let's make that an 11. How about that, son?
That's tough.
-6 the rest of the week. 1 hole, 7 over. Wow.
I mean, guys have thrown their clubs before and not gotten penalties. That might have been. That might have been a little. Pushing it.
I did not. I never saw footage of it.
Saw it.
I mean, everything's out there, so I imagine it is. Did you see what happened to, was it the Gala that was buried in the rough?
Yeah.
That hit a ball and he lost his grip on the club. The club went flying, and then there turned out there was another ball that his ball was resting on. I guess.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, because he hits his shot. His ball gets out to the fairway. His club went over, didn't hit anyone. It helicoptered toward the grandstand that was to his left. And then he reached down and was holding another ball. And I guess they didn't have a close enough. That's one of those I would have really liked to see, like the moment of contact, in slow motion coming. Like, what is that? Like this ball was buried so badly. His ball was hard to get to. He gets to it, and it turns out he's hitting it off the top of another ball, which is really
and that
weird.
could happen too. I mean, who knows? That could have been there for weeks for all we know. It could have been just a member that hit it, and you don't find it there, and obviously he didn't see it as he was going to hit the ball, and then all of a sudden on his follow-through, he nicks the other ball going through. So that's a realistic possibility that could happen, obviously, in that event. So, yeah, I guess the odds are still small, but it can happen. I guess, you think they cleared the course, but they're not going into those high fescue areas to just, everybody start looking for balls. They're not going to do that.
Right. Yeah, I walk around Delaware Park in the winter with my dog or in the fall before the course is open, or the spring even, I guess I should say. And the area, there's hardly any trouble there, but this one area of fescue, I walked through there in March before the course was open and found like a dozen golf balls. Because everything's dead and down, and it's just balls in there. You just give up. You can't, stuff's knee high. So,
all right. Well, I get the next one. I'm sad there's only one more Pick 10 event this year, unless we just start doing it every week.
No.
The Travelers, everybody. Ryan will join us this week, and we'll talk about the Travelers.
Is the Travelers truly the 12th major? Is something that we're going to start talking about.
What did they call it yesterday? Like they have it's not a tour. Yesterday's not a tour event per se. So Tirico, I think, called it a signature event on the PGA Tour, which that was news to me. But okay, he's probably right.
Yeah, officially it's the United States Golf Association running that event, not the PGA Tour. You're right.
The Open.
But, yeah, I mean, I love the PGA Championship in May because it's kind of a quieter time, and I understand why for the PGA it's a great spot because it usually got lost in August. But then in August, I feel like there's something. I know they have the playoffs, but you feel like you need something else there. Yeah,
August needs something. I'll be going for my 6th straight win in this thing at the Open Championship. On a roll.
That has to be in your spreadsheet. Is that the longest? Is that our longest win streak? That has to be.
Maybe. The last time I lost was maybe it's 7. Anyway, I don't know.
You're on a roll. That's all that matters.
I always get confused by this because they moved the PGA in 2019. I have that right in front of me. So the order, I should start over with this thing. The order is all mixed up because I have to figure out which order the tournaments were in.
And in 20 with COVID, wasn't the Masters in like November or something? Everything was all jumbled for a little bit.
The order was I don't know the months, but it was PGA, Open, Masters, and they did not have the Open Championship in 2020.
That's right. Do you have the overall record since 2013 when we started this?
I have it all except for a couple that I don't know. Like we don't remember if we had the winner or not.
Is there enough of a trend still, or is it still close to 50-50?
I think I wrote down in 2023 the picker for lack of a better descriptive, was on a streak of 2-15. So the picker was never winning. And then we had a couple in the last 3 years that all won at like half price. Favorites
won, yeah.
Scheffler, Schauffele, Scheffler, McIlroy, that all won at half price. McIlroy wins the Masters this year, but he was the 4th favorite, so I lucked out. And then Rye, nobody would have had him. Brian didn't have him, and then Clark. Nobody. Bulldog did not pick Clark. It's only one person. I keep saying nobody. Well, I'll get my staff on preparation for Birkdale coming up next month. Brian, thanks for your time and coverage here of the Open, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, guys. Always enjoy it.
Brian Koziol on the West Shore Hotline. Get into some hockey coming up. Paul Hamilton will join us late in the show. How about the trade? Florida lands Brady Tkachuk to put with his brother and gives up 3 firsts and a second to do so. Pretty big. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. That and more as we continue after the update. This is WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of
Draft week in the NHL, and this year's draft is going to be held right here in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Ahead of that, though, Darren Drager of TSN is reporting the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending free agent forward Alex Tuch. Drager also reporting the Sabres, along with a number of other teams, do remain active in trade scenarios. We'll get the latest on the Sabres coming up in a little bit. Paul Hamilton will join the show at 6. In college basketball, Michigan head coach Dusty May leaving college. He is heading to the NBA, where he is reportedly finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. To the World Cup, we still got about a half hour until France and Iraq, but earlier today, Lionel Messi, following his 2 goals, now has 18 at the World Cup. That is the most all-time. Argentina did go on to beat Austria 2-0, as mentioned, in about a half hour at 5. France versus Iraq in Philly. Kylian Mbappe, keep an eye on that. He has 14 goals in his World Cup career. In New Jersey at 8, we'll have Norway versus Senegal, and then at 11, Jordan, they take on Algeria in San Francisco. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
This was a unique situation. I think clearly, as you see where he was transacted to, there's a connection there. We did what we needed to do from our perspective. I think as the year went on, for me, I could clearly see that Brady was a bit of a different player from the year before. So probably not overly surprised at that point. Did I wish it was different and we could find a way to move forward? Of course. I mean, he's a good player, but that wasn't the case and we moved on.
Steve Staios,
Boy, we've been there.
apparently is the GM of the Ottawa Senators.
Right.
And they remain handily above the Sabres in the Cup odds, even though they did take a dip, giving Brady Tkachuk away for draft picks.
It's a lot of draft picks, but, man, that is not – it's hard to feel any kind of good about that. I mean, they've been a playoff team 2 years in a row. I'm sure they didn't get to 100 points or 109 like the Sabres or Montreal or even Boston, but still, like, they're building toward something, and that's the captain. And it's it's a nice haul of stuff, but none of it, Staios, I think, goes on in at some point today in talking about being forced to make this trade. Like, we'll see, they can turn those picks into something immediate too. Like, those are good assets that maybe they can move.
Are they in each of the next 3 seasons?
No, I believe 9 and 25. There's 2 that are this year, and then
that's better.
It's after, I think.
That's better.
I think because Florida traded for 25 earlier in the day. They sent Sam Sakevich to, I forget where, but they made a trade earlier in the day that got them one of the picks that they sent to Ottawa. But, man, it just, you think you're building towards something. This is the fear, you live with. This is us with Jack Eichel from the minute he got here. For some people, they go, well, just wait until he wants to leave. And, eventually he did. And this thing with Tkachuk felt like a ticking time bomb almost from the minute his brother forced a trade out of Calgary to Florida.
Yep.
And then I think, like Staios even says there, I think just the appetite for the fan base and just Canada in general, like it's I think it's hard on American players that are in Canada after the Olympics. So you've got this sort of built-in friction now that you just, I think, want to alleviate. And so there you are.
So it's not frictionless, apparently,
right.
The situation.
Right. Was not frictionless. So I think, on one hand, you can easily look at Florida and go, oh, my gosh, they're building a super team, because they have the Tkachuk brothers now. And their forward lines do look intimidating. I think Florida was going to be back anyways. I think overall this is a net positive if you're a Sabres fan, because I think it really damages Ottawa. And I don't know maybe they can, on the fly here, turn some of this stuff that they got back in assets into something to help them immediately, or maybe they can have a great summer spending Brady Tkachuk's money on someone else. But I think right now, if they can't pull a whale into the boat, they've been weakened, and they were, to me, it just eliminates, I think, for now, a team that I don't think you got to really worry about them right now. And I think Florida, with or without Brady Tkachuk, to me, was going to be a team that was going to be back in, living in the area that the Sabres in Montreal and Tampa were living in all season, this past season.
Well, I'm sure that USA-Canada dynamic can be correct, depending on the guy, whether that's Brady Tkachuk or Connor Hellebuck or someone else.
Right.
They're also very small markets. They're not in Toronto or Vancouver. They're in Winnipeg and Ottawa, and that can be enough, and that's what we can relate to. I mean,
right.
Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch are Americans, but they're also in a small market, and Jack Eichel is American, and he wanted to go, and he did. Like, the players have a lot of power. They don't have all of it. And I don't know, like, this one, I like the sex appeal of 3 firsts, at least. I'd like to get a Peyton Krebs back or somebody in a trade like this, where I have somebody that's maybe been good in the minor leagues that I can think about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 3 firsts. It feels like the kind of trade to me where if Tkachuk has so much control in the situation that he's going to, like, Florida, okay? Got it? I'm going to hang up and listen. Florida. And so here's the Ottawa management, and we're kind of up against a wall here. What will you give us? Or probably I like this idea more from the other side, from Florida. What do you want? This feels like a trade where Florida says, what do you want? And Ottawa's like, 3 firsts and a second. And Florida's like, done. I mentioned the name Jacob Sanderson a lot from ADP Chasing. We do a podcast on Tuesday nights on fantasy football, and he is a Celtics fan. And he's tweeting a lot about Giannis and Jaylen Brown, all of that. And Jacob's like, it just feels like the Celtics are sort of nitpicking. And I'm like, just go be Florida. What do you want? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let them name your price. And then maybe they'll do it. And then you can be done. Unless it's insane. Is 3 firsts insane? No. I mean, it's the Rams.
Right. It's 2 this year, by the way, 9 and 25. The other one is conditional and not until 2029.
Oh, I can't see that far ahead.
And the second round pick is 2027.
Okay. Still. What do you want? Sounds like 2 firsts then, and a second, and then something in the distant future.
Yeah.
During the next World Cup or something.
Like 3 drafts from now.
Yeah,
or 4
fine.
even.
Whatever. Maybe Florida will be bad then. They'll be old.
Yeah.
And Ottawa wins on that pick.
Well,
perhaps.
I wonder what the conditional might be, that if it's lottery protected or some nonsense like that. So that maybe whatever. I don't know what the conditions are, but it's just all, it's 2 right away and then nothing for 4 more years, which is maybe a little tough.
3.
4 more drafts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
Right.
Well, when we talked about the Rams, or when we all talk about the Rams and their draft pick stuff, I think they get a lot of love for it. I love my draft picks. And I could be Ottawa here, and feel like I'm not going to keep the player because I know what this is, and in private I know what he's saying, and I know that I don't have a lot of leverage here.
Yeah.
So I'll take 3 firsts and then do the next thing.
I'll tell you what this does for. I have mostly, as it turned out this year, I think for a few years I was mostly, I would describe myself as admiring, if not flat out liking, the Florida Panthers. Like the build of their team, I liked how they played. I loved how they won the President's Trophy and then traded their leading scorer. Like that was the start of all this. They had a great year, got knocked out, and went, yeah, this isn't going to do it. And they pivoted, which is a very hard thing to do when you're already, a 110-point team or whatever they were when they won the President's Trophy. It's like, you got my admiration and respect for doing that, and how they play, and Reinhardt. Like, I've mostly have liked them. This feels just a little too much like LeBron and Wade and Bosch, and like it's a tipping point for me where Florida, I'm done sort of hat tipping them. Like this is an advantage they have because they were able to pull off the first Tkachuk trade, and now like they're in the driver's seat to get his brother, And I don't know, like, I feel like now the rest of the league has got one arm tied behind their back, and I'm no longer really respecting you, Florida. Like, I feel like whatever advantage, the taxes, it just feels a little greasy to me. Mm-hmm. So
that's Vegas too.
Yeah, I think I'm done. Sort of, I think the expiration date has been reached on my admiration of Florida.
Your admiration has hit its expiration.
They are right. They are going to be insufferable with those two guys there. That might be still a lot of fun to watch in a certain way, but like I'm going to have a very hard time, not being annoyed by it. I think mostly. So
this is me with most things.
Yeah. So that for me, and I wonder if how many like-minded hockey fans there would be, sort of slowly nodding at the Florida Panthers, respecting what they're doing, and now it just feels a little like I don't know. It just feels like gluttony a little bit. Like I think they were already going to be great again, and now I don't know.
This is our lives, though. We're never one of these teams. We're never going to be one of these teams. Even the Bills.
Right.
I mean, as good as Allen is, as good as they've been, they've done some of it, but they're not going to be able to lord over the NFL.
Right. Von Miller never did lure DeAndre Hopkins or Odell Beckham Jr. here.
No.
That never happened.
And it was never surprising that didn't happen.
Right.
That's just what it's always been.
Yep.
You can draft, you can hit the jackpot at quarterback, and, do the best you can after that.
One thought I did have when this happened, yesterday afternoon or evening, when we learned about this Brady Tkachuk to Florida trade was, what Hellebuck may want to leave Winnipeg. Larkin wants to leave Detroit. Not that Detroit's a Canadian market. But we've got this sort of Team USA. There's already rumblings about Werenski in Columbus. Is he going to sign an extension there? Are they going to try to get out ahead of it? Maybe that waits until next offseason or something, but there'll be drama there. One thought I had was, all right, what I need here is Tage Thompson to get on the phone with Dylan Larkin. Just be like, dude, do you see what these guys are doing in Florida? All right, look, they don't have room for you. Vegas probably doesn't have room. Come to Buffalo, and we'll we're building a Guardians of the Galaxy here, and you're on my team, okay? I don't know if that's realistic or not, but it was one thought I had. Like, go recruit somebody to waive their no trade to come on over here and help you beat them.
Well, it's a exciting idea. Does Thompson strike you in the slightest as having that personality? Not me. I just any sort of a commanding presence in any does not seem like it.
Right.
So
they were line mates at the
he will shoot.
So
he will shoot. He doesn't always pass. He's a shooter, but I don't know. That's probably not fair. Yeah, I mean that's a tough sell though.
Sure,
Buffalo's a tough sell, and so is Ottawa, and that's just never going to not be true.
Right.
803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR. Next up at World Cup in Philadelphia is France versus Iraq. I'd say throw out the record books. I am saying it. There might not be any. A lot of these games are first-time meetings. There are more teams than ever in the World Cup by a lot. Argentina and Austria just played today. That was their first ever meeting in any international event. They'd never played each other before. So our joke doesn't really run that well at World Cup. It's literally the case that they've never played. It's one thing to say that about the Carolina Panthers and the Raiders.
Right.
But when it's Argentina and Austria,
it's legitimately true. Yeah, right.
Yep. Iraq is plus 2,800 to win. Your $10 pays $280 if they do it. Plus 1,100 to tie. So you could at least bet the draw. Get a pretty good payout on the draw if you get lucky on that one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe France hits a bunch of posts or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could
a couple
happen.
of red cards.
Yeah, right.
Somebody gets sick, leaves. Yesterday we had one where the team in lacrosse we were playing, these tournaments, probably it's the same in hockey. The clock just stops for no man. We got another game coming up. Games are 40 minutes long. There's a 5-minute warm-up and break between games, and then they go again. And that's just not movable. And my guys were playing a team with like 3 minutes left in the game. Kid goes down.
Clock.
One goal lead.
Game rolls on.
Just goes down. He might have been hurt.
Yeah.
But it's World Cup season, and you see all kinds of guys go down, and they're fine.
Might have been tactical. Yeah.
Might have been tactical. That's all I can say.
I've read that more players, there's still the, trying to draw the calls and the flopping, but that they're getting up on their own faster because there's a rule that if you have to be tended to, you have to be on the sidelines for a minute or 2 minutes or so. It's almost like a penalty. And before, you don't have to be removed from the game, but you have to be removed from the game for an amount of time. So avoid that, right? I mean, try to draw the call, but hurry up, get up. Here come the trainers, and we don't want to have to play 10 men for a minute or whatever the duration is. But there is some penalty this year, I've read.
Yeah, I think they have done some things to the World Cup, and there's just no way to find out, sadly, that are sort of with the United States in mind. Like what they've Americanized this thing a little bit. The injury time, it feels like 5 minutes is 5 minutes, not 9.
Yesterday, at the end of Uruguay, Cape Verde, Cape Verde had the ball and they weren't in the box, but they were. I've watched hundreds of Premier League games where the extra time is up, but you're looking like you might be building a play here, and they just let it go, and they blew it. We're past the time. Sorry, we know that they're somewhere between like half midfield and the box, I would say, with control, and they just said, nope, we're done. I'm like, that never happens in the European soccer I've watched. Anyway, so that feels new.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That's right. I think it's right. I mean, if there's an injury or a goal in extra time, they'll stretch it out.
Maybe that's different, right?
But if there isn't, 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
Yep.
I can respect that. France and Iraq. Norway and Senegal follows. That's at 8, I think. And that line is pretty close. And then my Jordan against, I believe it's Algeria. At 11.
You didn't refer to Senegal as my Senegal.
Well, you dropped out of the thread.
I didn't really.
You quit the pool.
I need to. I mean, I've no. I
didn't know you were still interested.
Could I still win if Senegal wins the World Cup? I have 2 points.
4 teams.
I'm just buried here.
What? I mean, maybe that's a bet worth looking into. Senegal.
I don't know.
Maybe they are.
Holy cow.
If they're even with Norway.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are in the standings or anything. You want to look that up, but.
I think they drew their first match, I believe.
Oh, they're so live. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after sports here on WGR.
Draft week in the NHL, and this year's edition is going to be held right here in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Ahead of that, though, Darren Drager of TSN reporting that the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending free agent forward Alex Tuch. Drager also reporting the Sabres, along with a number of other teams, remain very active in trade scenarios. We'll get the latest on the Sabres. Paul Hamilton going to join the show in just about an hour at 6. Big news in college basketball. Michigan head coach Dusty May is leaving college. He's heading to the NBA, where he is reportedly finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. In the World Cup, Lionel Messi, following his 2 goals today, he now has 18 in his World Cup career. That is the most all-time. Argentina did take down Austria 2-0. Coming up here in just the next few moments, we've got France and Iraq in Philadelphia. Something to keep an eye on, Kylian Mbappe. He has 14 goals in his World Cup career. We'll see how many he has after tonight. In New Jersey at 8, we'll have Norway versus Senegal. And at 11, Jordan, they take on Algeria. That game in San Francisco. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Hard salami's okay, but it's not as good, right? Although maybe if you're French vanilla, you'd be like hard salami.
You mean the best vanilla?
The fake vanilla.
The delicious
the
vanilla?
Fake vanilla.
The creamy vanilla without sand and dirt in it?
It's Mike Schopp.
I like that
Sand
one.
and dirt. The beans.
Yeah.
The
yes.
specks.
Yes.
Are the problem.
It's granular.
The actual what
They're-
vanilla is the absolute worst take you've ever had. Because it's on different levels of offensiveness.
I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
And the Bulldog.
Maybe when you first made the ice cream, they were interested in making it, I don't know, good, and added cream to it to make it creamy, like thus ice cream, not ice sand, ice gravel.
People, what do we even do?
I mean, what are we talking about?
Help.
Police! Help! Police! Help!
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Even though he's demoralized by not having more points in our station's World Cup pool, Bulldog's still willing to engage in a story of mine about the guy who got the red card for covering his mouth. Yeah.
All I know, when you said that, I said, oh, I read about that. And it's a mischaracterization of what I know about it. I saw a tweet that said there was a red card for covering the mouth. And I went, but to myself, what does that even mean?
I think the best way for me to tell the story would be to have my mouth covered.
I'm not sure it's an effective way to communicate to our audience,
No.
but yes, I get the idea.
It doesn't help us.
No. But that's what it is. Like he
was arguing, a guy from Paraguay versus Turkey. Are you Turkey or Turkey A?
I mean, what's most right? Turkey A.
Turkey A.
That's what I mean, I'll do that.
The guy from Paraguay and the other, his opponent, were arguing, and he covered his mouth so you couldn't read his lips. Out of the game. Wow. If we were to sit down, and I'm not saying we necessarily want to do this right now, and took all the infractions there are in sports, and then also what the penalties are for everything, would covering your mouth be an automatic ejection?
That almost to me seems like if you say the same thing without covering your mouth, are you ejected? Because it's the content of the words?
How bad does it have to be?
Right? I mean, you're covering your mouth because you don't want people that are watching and can't hear you to know what it is you said. So that the assumption is that it's highly offensive, I suppose. But I don't know. We see like North American sports, everybody covers their mouths all the time.
That's right.
The pitcher and the catcher and the manager and the football coaches, like all of it is like, because we don't want anyone to see us. So I assume that those people aren't swearing at one another. But I don't know.
How often are they even really saying anything that we shouldn't need to know?
Right. Like I wonder if what was it heard? See,
no,
I did not do any legwork here. I just read that someone was thrown out of the match for covering their mouth, and I guess the assumption is that had to be gruesome and offensive, and therefore you're thrown out.
No,
but I don't know. What if you're just gonna? I really liked visiting your country last time I was there.
Don't cover your mouth.
I'm out of the game? I don't know.
Even if it's more of a...
It's a novelty act, George. It's a skill. Like...
What does he say? I forget the rest of the...
Juggling.
Like juggling.
That's right. It's
like juggling. She's not a novelty act, George.
See, I would maybe get caught doing that, and then I'd be tossed.
Right.
But, he's speaking Spanish, presumably, this Paraguayan player. I don't know about the Turkish player. Or is it Turkish, eh? I don't know about the Turkish player, but
I missed a meeting.
you just have to know.
Yeah.
In that blackjack tournament I did, very innocently, 2 or 3 times, I was stopped from a bet because I was doing a thing they call a string bet, which I think of in poker, but I'd never played blackjack like this before. And once you put your chips in the circle, you're done. That's it. You can't then put more chips. But I was using the circle to put my bet together, and you can't do that. Because once you put your bet in the circle, that's it. That's binding. Otherwise, it's called a string bet, and it's illegal.
No more building.
And I wasn't trying to cheat anybody. I was just like, oh. And the second time, like, oh, I'm so stupid. I just did that, and I was in the habit of doing that.
Yeah.
So Paraguay gets thrown out. They win anyway, 1-0. Turkey's just all over them, cannot score, to the point that in the last moments of the game, a Turkish player misses barely and starts to cry on the field. Like they're done. They play USA on Thursday,
but they're
done.
They're bounced,
and USA is already through. So this game is like not interesting.
It's a friendly. Although maybe it won't be so friendly.
It could be an unfriendly.
Yeah, right.
But it's not important.
Right. That's definitely true.
Here is Sam, perhaps with some insight. Hi, Sam.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great, Sam. Thanks for calling us.
Hey, no problem. Hey, so the red card stuff got added for this year's World Cup because of an incident with Vinicius Jr. He was called some really racist stuff in a game previously, and the guy who said it to him was covering his mouth. And when he's accusing him of saying something, it wasn't audibly heard. It's a he said, she said thing. Yep. And they said, you know what, we're not dealing with this anymore. If you're covering your mouth, we're assuming the worst and you're done.
Yep.
Love it.
So it's really more of we're going to go really hard against you and hope that you don't actually do it. And that's why they instituted that rule.
I like it.
That's all.
That makes sense. Not only thank you. You explained it perfectly, and I think it's a good rule. And I wish baseball had it. Even if Aaron Boone isn't spewing racial epithets at his pitcher.
Yeah, I would doubt he would.
I want to be able to see if I can't read his lips anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's covering their mouth.
Mm-hmm. It's become very. They're
not even using the elbow, which would be better hygiene.
It's the advent of just everything. Someone is taping, even if the television cameras aren't taping. Someone with a cell phone is. There's a mountain visit, taping. Even the opposition could be. That's the mindset. It's like everyone's going to try to cheat. So I want, as innocuous as this conversation may end up being, we just got to make sure we're protected. We don't want anyone knowing what we're talking about. Ever.
What is your favorite Bill Murray movie? No, really, I'm really asking.
That's an easy one for me. I think I would say Stripes.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's easy?
Yeah.
It's just like clearly Stripes?
It's the first one that came to mind. I feel like it's more his movie than like Ghostbusters is. I mean, even though he's the but like there's Aykroyd and Ramis and Sigourney Weaver and I don't know. Like
you don't think of that as a Bill Murray movie?
No.
What's his first movie in his
really.
obit? That.
Probably Ghostbusters, yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
May it not come for decades.
Yeah.
But yes. What's the movie in Japan?
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation. I'm going with that.
That is in the second, or like maybe even the second paragraph of the bio. But if it's in the first paragraph, it's at the end of the first sentence, like late career turn, like he played a different sort of role to much critical acclaim, like that gets mentioned.
Yes.
Like that.
I think I agree.
End of the first paragraph, I think.
I mean, up top, you're getting Saturday Night Live, you're getting Ghost or Caddyshack, and then you're getting Ghostbusters, where he became a superstar.
Right.
And then you're getting the Pebble Beach golf.
Right.
He's always and Cubs games. Anyway, thanks, Sam. Thanks for helping us out with that.
Yeah.
I am wearing a Duke visor today.
I wondered if that. I felt like when I walked in, it looked like you had headgear on that I didn't recognize.
It's new.
But then I saw it, I thought like, maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, but it is new. I thought
It's
my
new.
first instinct was it was new, and I talked myself out of it.
Father's Day. My wife went to Duke on Saturday.
All right.
Not for classes.
Like school, she graduated already?
She went to Duke for one day. It went that badly.
That
She's
was
out.
fast.
She's back out. She's back home already. She went to college for one day. She's back home. I bet she's not the first person ever to do that. But yeah, Duke.
All right.
And it's funny because Wyndham Clark, as it was borne out yesterday, is kind of a heel. The fans didn't like him. Not just the fans at the golf course. The internet was on board.
Oh, yeah.
With Wyndham. Like, the internet drew a line about which was what crossed the line in terms of decorum for a fan. Some would say it would be like just, saying anything to him. Some would say it would be get in the bunker, talking in the backswing, wherever you want to draw the line. The internet was in agreement with the fans as like being negative toward Wyndham Clark.
This is a guy we do not want to win this tournament.
Yeah. I was fine with it.
Well, you were going to win $50.
$50 from you, and I had a bet that the winner would be somebody that had won a major before. And he was like my only hope there toward the end.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't going to be Scheffler.
Right.
So he was a double win, as it happens. But there's a lot you can say about this. We talked about it quite a bit earlier. If he really is like a heel, and you were saying how you think maybe that would have softened after his win and some of the comments he made.
It did for me. I mean, I just sort of felt like I'm trying too hard if I'm still going to be mad at this guy. The way he played, what he was up against, not just the course, but the fans, and then how he handled himself afterward. Like, I don't know if I'm getting soft or what, but I just felt like, no. It got me through the weekend. I mean, rooting against him was fun for me during the tournament, but when it ended, I sort of felt like I feel like I'd be a real jerk if I'm carrying this forward.
I'll say this to the listeners. Bulldog has never paid off that bet faster than yesterday. I felt your scorn toward Wyndham, your bitterness about the result in the alacrity with which you paid that bet off. Like, all right, fine.
I think
Here,
I don't even think
take the money.
I don't think his final putt was in the hole.
No.
He hit that lagger up to it and was like a tap in to win it, and I sent the money right then.
Yeah, it was the fastest bet ever paid off. I still have to pay Joe for a bet we made about Ryan Tannehill. I mean, that was just like instant. But Duke is a heel.
Yeah, I know. I'm curious about like how. I mean, do you like the visor? Well, your wife bought it for you. That's one reason to like it. But do you like it because they're a heel?
No, it's just a new visor.
Okay.
That's it. If anybody had bought it for me, I might have worn it today. It's not clashy with the shirt, really. So, yeah.
This is pretty neutral. Yeah.
Yeah. But Duke is a heel, and I was oblivious yesterday to Wyndham Clark being hated on.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't even really get it. And I asked you and a few other people, and it was explained to me why. I'm like, okay. And I think with Duke, when I first ever watched them in the 80s, and then it's Leitner, I don't know. Like, I didn't appreciate, maybe it wasn't true then, that they were a hated team. I don't know. Was it even true then? Was it did it just was it Leitner's fault? Like, how did Duke become, how and when?
I know. I mean, we've talked to him enough times now, and plus the whole 30 for 30. I think it really grew with him there. I think. So I can't definitively say it started with him. But it certainly grew. I mean, they became so prominent while he was there, and that is, of course, I would have never told you I didn't like Wyndham Clark before now because I never really cared about I didn't like when he ripped up the tee box or broke up the lockers, but I wasn't going to volunteer you an opinion about Wyndham Clark. This weekend, he's in my hair.
Right, you never had to worry about him
in
before.
a number of ways. And so now guess what I've got? I've got a closet full of takes for you on Wyndham Clark and how much I don't like him. The same thing probably happens when they start winning national titles and Krzyzewski is elevated to this status of being just a god within the sport. There's always going to be a pushback on that. No matter how much of a blue blood you are, you become a blue blood when you get treated that way. You're perceived that way. And so your walking off point is already going to be like, man, these guys are annoying. And that's it. It's not hard. So, yeah, it's funny. I think Duke and Wyndham Clark are, maybe there's a parallel track there with them.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm old for this now. And I've said many times, I wish when I was younger, I would have had this sort of thought to open myself up to root for more bad guys. I was just sort of like gullible and, always wanting to make friends. I would never root for the bad guys. I would never root for a team or a player that the people around me also didn't like. But I think if I could go back, I would do that. I would root for the Raiders in the 80s. But I hated the Raiders because that's what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to hate the Raiders. So I'm going to try to root for more heels. And you can't really do that. Well, we can't really do that too smoothly with the NFL or the NHL. What am I going to do?
Because we got teams, for one thing. Right.
What am I going to root for who? We don't have Dan Snyder anymore. Who's the number one heel in the NFL? Kansas City? I mean, just because they win?
Jerry Jones, Cowboys.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is there another one? Is there somebody else that
Eagles with Big Dom? I don't know.
Big Dom. You hate Big Dom.
I hate Big Dom.
That guy covers his mouth, I bet, all the time.
Oh,
he would never let you see what he's. Right. He would never give you a chance to read his lips. Big Dom. I don't know. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Dallas. I think Kansas City is probably.
Kansas City
run
works.
A poll of like your least favorite team, and it would be the Chiefs, just because they win, and maybe we're just going to find out. We're going to find annoying things about them because they're winning.
There's enough. I mean, Rashee Rice. They've employed some people that aren't. I mean, Reed's son had a DUI injury.
He wasn't on the team.
He was like one of the coaches at the time.
Okay.
There's stuff. There's stuff. I
guess so.
With them, they're not clean.
Well, I can't just go rooting for Kansas City.
No, you're not going to do that.
Or
Dallas.
Carolina and hockey.
No, oh my God.
Vegas, Florida.
Although during the playoffs, I realized that I hate Pittsburgh more than Philly because I'm watching Philly and Pittsburgh play, and very organically, I'm like, I'm backing Philadelphia here. They're good plays. I'm going, all right. Like, what is happening to me?
I think it's maybe because it's been longer since they were good. So they're more of an underdog for you than they used to be.
That, and, you like players that end up on the team that you decided you liked when they were on other teams, that makes it hard, too. Zegras and Drysdale, yeah. Defenseman. Anyway, there's guys I like there. But anyway.
But golf, whether or not you have a good reason for disliking Wyndham Clark, it's fine to do it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's harmless to do it.
Yeah.
Harmless fun.
From my living room. I'm not yelling at him I'm not cheering his balls. I mean, I am with my son, but Wyndham Clark, I would never, ever in a billion years do that in public at a golf course.
No.
I just would never.
No.
I would never think to do it.
No.
Doesn't matter what I've wagered on, how much alcohol I've had, nothing.
No.
I just would not
ever
be yelling at. No. I suppose if I were slipped LSD, maybe I would yell at Wyndham Clark. But I doubt I would be slipped LSD. It's just never going to happen.
Not at Shinnecock.
You'd be surprised. No,
maybe that's the kind of place where it would happen.
Right.
All the money. Right. Therefore, all the access you could want.
All the drugs.
803 is Shinnecock, a place where you could easily get
slipped acid.
The long distance number is 1-888 something.
No, I mean, I think a player, I don't know how the play, again, if it's in your face and, I mean, I just don't think any of that's called for really ever, especially in an individual sport that is largely about being polite and decorum and whatnot. Like, it's not a hockey game, okay? So, like, no one's taking advantage of your team and physically cheap shotting, whatever. They're all playing golf. So, like, that's never going to happen. But you should, I think, if you are an athlete and you elicit any kind of a reaction that's profound one way or the other, you're doing something, right? Because if you are able to get me in Buffalo, New York to dislike you, that probably means that there are just as many people somewhere else or even in Buffalo, New York that are going to like you. Like, you're eliciting emotion, you're forcing people to have an opinion about you. And I think, maybe there's plenty of guys and girls playing golf professionally that would rather never be noticed. Like, be the person when they show up on the screen and go, well, this guy's going to make this 30-footer because I've never heard of him. And maybe you'd rather be that guy. But, if you're in the arena big time, I think you got to just accept that there are going to be people that hate you for no good real reason. This is how it is at sports.
As easy as it is to say, I'm just going to try to root for more heels. Heels are heels for a reason.
Right.
Like, I'm thinking about tennis, another sport.
They're not likable, right?
Now, there's something that is why, just like a cliche, there's a reason why it's a cliche. There's something about them. I'm thinking about tennis, another sport where I would not have any reason to pick one person versus another person. I don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. Nick Kyrgios, who's at the end of his career now, but always like such a brat, throwing stuff and mouthing off all the time. I never wanted that guy to win. Am I saying now I should have rooted for him? No, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to root for him.
That wouldn't.
I never wanted to root for him.
That would feel good. No.
No.
It's it largely is, for me with golfers, it is almost entirely about how they behave. It's one of the reasons I could never get all the way there on Tiger Woods. As incredible as it was to watch him play, even in person, which I got to do one time, the swearing and the I don't know, theatrics is too strong, but just his emotions got away from him often enough that it just kind of bugged me.
Yep.
And I know that it's hard. I play golf too. I know it's hard. But that largely is it for me. When I see anyone, push a putt left that they thought was going to break more right, and they do the thing with their hand, put your hand in your pocket. All right, just we see you thought it was going to do something else that it didn't do, but the gesturing feels like you want me to okay, you didn't miss it.
I was right. The green was wrong.
Right, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss the shot.
Supposed to do that.
It was. Did you see? You see the way the grass is cut? No, shut up. You missed.
I do think, though, by the way, speaking of golf hand gestures, some of the guys got straight on the the wave. I didn't see very much of it the last 2 days.
I noticed only one time did I notice Scheffler, and it was the waist high wave.
A couple times he got a little high. He got higher enough that it felt like he was actually meaning
to wave.
Thank you. But if you only come up to the belt line, it's like, don't stop. That's dismissive. I don't want to hear it. Burns is that guy. Burns is a guy who doesn't come up above the belt. He's just like, He probably means, I don't want to say he probably means well. See, now I'm going to not like him.
Burns?
Yeah. If you can't actually, don't do anything, is option 2. Option 1 is, sincere gesture of appreciation to the fans who paid money to sit there and watch you play and are cheering for you. That's option 1. Option 2 is nothing. Option 3 is this.
You would have been proud of me on Saturday. There was a lot of acknowledging the fans on Saturday.
I don't question that.
I had it's been a quiet start to the season for me, but I was trailing my son on the 16th green, and I made like a 25-foot birdie putt. And I'm telling you, if there were for some reason any footage of what I did on the green, it would be the most humiliating thing of my life. Because I was happy, but I just think the way I celebrated would have looked like someone who has never danced once in their life. But there was a lot of the waving, hat tipping, and I par 17-18 to beat him by 2. It felt pretty good, and there was a lot of waving.
Did you do the Hale Irwin?
What is the Hale Irwin?
Hale Irwin at Medina in 90 made a long putt late in the tournament, and he sort of jumped maybe, and in celebration he went to the gallery and just high-fived everybody in the gallery on the rope line, like, I don't know, 50 people or something. That would be funny if you did that with invisible fans.
Yeah.
If you go off the green, you sort of run.
Yeah.
I'll do it. If I ever make a putt again in my life, I'll do it. Like a meaningful one. Relative term. You run off the green, and then you just put your arm out just pretend to hand slap all the fans all the way back behind the green.
It is just dawning on me now that it is possible that someone, not meaning to, could have seen, maybe many people, this 16th green is right on top of the kids' soccer fields.
Yeah.
So there's probably a couple hundred, if not more, people at those fields watching their kids play, and then the little sort of jump, hop, wiggle, celebration, fist pump thing. I didn't just do one thing. I did like 7 moves at once. And I mean, I must have looked like the biggest jackass ever. And if anyone at those soccer fields looked over, like, did you see that guy just now? That would have been appropriate because I looked like a maniac. But I was very happy about the putt.
Unlikely, however, that unlike the U.S. Open, nobody there is just filming you.
Right. No, there's no reason that would have been happening.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Had a little bit of a break, but now World Cup action is back underway. France already up 1-0 on Iraq. Mbappe does have the goal. That gives him 15 all-time. Earlier today, Lionel Messi, he had 2 goals today following his hat-trick performance in game day number 1. He now is 18 all-time at the World Cup, and that is the most all-time both for the men and women's game. Argentina earlier today beat Austria 2-0. We'll have 2 other games tonight in New Jersey at 8, Norway versus Senegal, and then at 11, it's Jordan. They take on Algeria in San Fran. To the NHL, it is draft week, and this year's draft is going to be held right here in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Ahead of that, Darren Drager of TSN is reporting the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending forward free agent Alex Tuch. Drager also reports that the Sabres, along with other teams, remain very active in trade scenarios. We'll get the latest on the Sabres in just about a half hour when Paul Hamilton joins the show at 6. Then in college basketball, Michigan head coach Dusty May is leaving college and reportedly heading to the NBA, where all signs point to him finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I definitely have my eye on Detroit and Buffalo as well. Red Wings haven't been able to get it right. Connor Hellebuck is a Michigan kid. To go back to Michigan would be a heck of a story, particularly in light of what's going on with Dylan Larkin, another Michigan kid on his way out. And the Sabres, a team that is obviously close. They're in the conversation now. They're in the circle. That's the big thing that Jarmo Kekalainen has to solve for this summer is fixing their goaltending once and for all. We shouldn't be flip-flopping back and forth multiple times in a series to try and get it right.
Frank Saravelli, everybody. Can we maybe someday not? I mean, the Sabres had been a while since they've gotten good, and we were all kind of new to it again. Can we maybe not bother with the chanting the other goalie's name? Next year. Is there any reason to think it works ever?
No, but it's fun.
Here's my idea. Chant your own goalie's name. Just to keep them sharp.
Yeah. Well,
they went 2-5 at home in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And every one of those games, they chanted the other goalie's name. We won 2 out of 7.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great plan.
Yeah. I don't think that's why, but I mean, I hear it wasn't effective.
I don't think it's why either.
I
just didn't work.
To me, it's a fun. It's a fun thing to do, and I think I do think though, if you have a leg to stand on this, it's that it should work as it should make the goalie feel great.
Yes, of course.
So. There is that.
Look how important I am.
Yeah. I mean, the one time it happened to my kid in Amarillo, Texas, that I was there for, I wish I had the presence to pull my phone out and start taping it.
Best game of his life.
It was a great moment for me. It wasn't. He didn't have a great game. He was he was getting it because he deserved. He wasn't killing them or anything.
Okay.
But I just loved that. They cared enough to chant his name like that. I was like, this is so cool. My last name is being chanted in an arena in Amarillo, Texas.
You don't get that very often. Most of us don't get that.
It's a level unlocked.
Well, I don't need the practice to go away, but I do need it to be said that it does not work at all. Right. So do what you want. If it's fun, there's a lot of things you can do for fun that are meaningless.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. I mean, maybe privately some goalie would have told his family, oh, man, I'll tell you, when they were chanting my name, that really shook me.
When he was 11.
But I kind of doubt it. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen to someone who's made it to the NHL.
No. But here's what I am for. If you go to a hockey game and you want to be heard, when you're there to support the road team. Now, this Montreal series had a bunch of this, where the fans got on the home team, who was the last team to win at home in the series? Game 3? Montreal won Game 3 at home, and then the road teams won the rest of the series?
I guess that's right, yeah.
If you're there rooting for the road team and the home fans get on the home team, you got to go with them.
Oh, sure.
You got to go with them.
Add to it, yeah.
If you're a Montreal fan and the Sabres are getting booed because their power play stinks,
boo 'em.
You got to boo louder.
Yeah.
You got to go with them. I mean, the players don't know the difference.
No.
And it doesn't make intuitive sense that the Montreal fans would be booing. That's what you got to do. You got to boo them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like everybody's booing them. And then Elliot Friedman will talk about it. But it's really just smart Montreal fans who are booing the Sabres for being bad. Why don't we do that? That's obviously good.
Road team fans, join in if the home fans are booing the home team.
Yes, easily. Perfect logic.
Step 2, Elliot Friedman writes about it.
Yes.
Step 3, riches.
Yeah, right.
Step 3, profit.
Profit. Right. Well, if you think at all that booing matters, which I really don't, if you think at all that it does, then that's the move. You sort of boo with the other team and their fans. Listen, Elliot Friedman did, in the lead up to Game 7, talk about that Sabres fans got down. I don't think he referenced booing per se, but it was like a point he made before Game 7 that in our building,
in Game 5,
in general.
Oh, in general, okay.
In our building, when the Sabres power play flopped, you could hear it from the fans, and that players knew it, and that it affected players.
Well,
if I'm a Montreal fan, I'm not.
That sounds like booing does work then.
I mean, that's what people tend to say, but, no one will ever be able to prove it.
Unless you want it to make them play better, but it probably doesn't do that.
No, of course not. They're not kids. Of course not. But, like you said, it's fun, so here, I'm the fun police, I guess. But I want it to be smart next time for the first time ever, and have it be, you sort of take on the role of the opponent.
You're asking for a lot.
I know. Steve is with us. Hello.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
On the Brady Tkachuk thing, I think I get pretty existential, and it doesn't really matter how I think. I'm just calling you guys. I think it's a really tough spot for the league when any player on a lousy team in a tough market with fan pressure can just strong arm their way to the 4 tax-advantaged good weather teams in no pressure environments. I actually looked this up. Your sister station in South Florida doesn't even have an article or any content about the Brady Tkachuk thing today. WQAM doesn't even cover it. So why wouldn't you, if I'm 27 years old and playing the NHL, and you could strong arm your way to Vegas or South Florida or Tampa because I can make more money, win all the time, and if I lose, no one cares.
Yep.
If you're in an environment like that, any of the Canadian markets, good luck. Michigan, good luck. Buffalo, good luck. How do you compete with? I'm genuinely asking, without actually having a really serious, sober, honest conversation about reform. If you're going to just strong arm your way to a point where you're just always going to win, and then if you lose, no one cares, then it's compound interest, man. It's like debt on a credit card. It's compound interest. How do you beat that?
It is hard to beat. The best I can do is that there's only so many guys and so much salary cap room, and just there's always going to be room for the other team. Hockey, especially hockey, I feel like the team that looks like the best team on paper, I don't know how often they actually win. I mean, I guess this year was close enough. Carolina was close to that. Everyone can't play for Florida and Vegas and Anaheim. They're going to – Anaheim doesn't really qualify, but Vegas, Nashville, Carolina, wherever the –
Minnesota seems to be on this list.
Minnesota, yeah. So, I mean, right now, I don't want to overreact to Brady Tkachuk forcing his way to Florida. The idea that we're getting some version of, the NBA. I referenced, Dwayne Wade and Bosch and LeBron, of course, from way back. To me, that's an exaggeration. I exaggerated with intent there. Because I was also making a different kind of point about how, for me now, Florida – I'm no longer going to view them with I don't want to say respect. I kind of admired them, and this feels like a shark jumping moment to me for them. They're gorging themselves. But all that said, there's only so many guys that can fit on one team. So you're going to go make the best of it somewhere else. There's always been more desirable places to play than Buffalo and Detroit and Columbus. And that was true 20 years ago, and it's going to be true 20 years from now.
And look at all our cups.
So, are you disadvantaged? Yes. Is there a way around it? I still think yes. Like, I don't have to feel doomed about it myself.
I don't feel doomed, but I do think it's important. And I think Steve did a great job of pointing it out. I do think it's important. You're never doomed, but you're also not playing, an even game. And that's been our entire lives as sports fans here.
And that way,
and the results kind of, to an extent, show that. Like, yes, small market teams have won.
I guess all I'm saying is I don't know how much of a change it really is. There's a lot more attention on it, and these guys are brothers. If this were some other great player on Ottawa that wasn't related to Matthew Tkachuk and he forced his way to Florida, I don't know. We'd still be upset about a team that's already won 2 cups in a row recently getting another great player. But I don't know. It would feel maybe a little less like the fix was in, I guess. So, I don't know. I think we've always been up against it, and you're going to continue to be.
It does remind me a little bit of the pre-salary cap days where, why do I even care about this? When money got big, when I was a kid, money didn't really matter. There wasn't free agency. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit more, fair, I guess, in that way. But then the money popped, and it was always New York, Toronto, Philadelphia, whoever else, Chicago. And then, all right, well, let's straighten that out. And now we're talking about taxes all the time and palm trees, I guess. And, there's only so many times you can really repair whatever this is. So I don't feel doomed, but I do think it's right to point out that there is, and Kevin Adams was right. Like there is. He just we didn't want him to advertise it.
Right.
But, maybe he was like, what do I care?
There was always truth in it, for sure. No question.
What does it really matter if I say it or not?
More than just truth in it. It's true what he said. He shouldn't have said it.
For his own team's sake.
Right.
That was the real problem is like, what am I supposed to think if I'm on the team listening to him talk about how he can't get better players in here? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Steve. 803-0550 for your calls. Paul Hamilton in 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Okay, well, I The Yankees open a series in Detroit in about 20 minutes. We'll see if Paul can keep his focus while we talk to Paul. The Yankees losing back-to-back over the weekend at home to Cincinnati. But still in first. I had I got a fun restaurant story from the weekend, but I'm reluctant to say too much about like the details, the food and the place and everything like that. It was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
But my son and I went with 2 other families to this place. I let others do all the planning, which has its,
sure
challenges sometimes, especially if you're me, that you like to control everything. Anyway, it was fine. But this big menu that everybody was so excited about, burgers and macaroni and cheese and sandwiches and salads
almost
and
too
pasta.
much.
Almost too much. Like one of these places that has everything.
Yeah.
My son got a cheeseburger. He loved it. It was gone in 5 seconds. They have specials, and I went to the specials, and I hated it. I just hated what I got. I felt so bad because everybody else was like, this is the best. And I'm like, oh, whose fault is it? Because everything about it for me was not well done. And yet, I sort of blame myself for the choice. And then the next morning in the hotel, so yesterday, another guy I know, we're sitting there getting ready to leave for the fields, and he's like, where did you go to eat? And I mentioned, we went to the same place. Wasn't it great? And I said to him, if I meet one more person today, we lost and went home.
How
so
great this meal was.
I didn't get into many more conversations. If I have one more person today that tells me how great this place was after my experience, I'm 3 o'clock. I don't care what happens at the U.S. Open. I don't care if the Bills make a trade. 3 o'clock tomorrow on the air, we're talking about this. Whose fault is it? Theirs or mine?
I think it sounds like it's yours. Although I can't know, did you – I don't know. I have too many questions and we don't have time.
I had a pastrami sandwich with avocado, but it was just like bathed in mustard, and you couldn't taste anything but the mustard. So I thought it was like a poor effort.
Well, that sounds like a them problem to me.
But I mean, did I have to get so cute? Is that a trick play in football that bombs because somebody dropped the punter can't throw a good pass or something? Is that me getting too cute? Just get the bacon, macaroni, and cheese and be done and be happy like everybody else at the table.
Right.
No, I had to get avocado and mustard.
Why would avocado and mustard be? Why would
I don't
there
know,
be
I like
avocado on a pastrami? Why you blew it?
I think I did.
This is your fault.
I think it is my fault.
I'm trying to be sympathetic, but you ordered pastrami with mustard and avocado knowingly.
Yes.
You blew it.
I think I feel the same. Yes. I think it's my fault.
Yes.
If everybody else liked the place and you don't,
and they didn't
whose
get
fault is that?
pastrami with avocado and mustard.
No. Paul next.
Draft week in the NHL. This year's draft, of course, going to be held right here in Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. But ahead of that, Darren Drager of TSN is reporting the Sabres are circling back to see if they can get a deal done with pending free agent forward Alex Tuch. Drager also reporting the Sabres, along with a number of other teams, remain very active in trade scenarios. Do stay tuned. We'll get the latest on the Sabres. Paul Hamilton joining the show next. To college basketball. Michigan head coach Dusty May leaving college and is heading to the NBA, where he is reportedly finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. May and Michigan are coming off a national championship winning season. In the World Cup, we do have history today. Lionel Messi, following his 2 goals against Austria, he now has 18 at the World Cup. That is the most all time, and Argentina did go on to beat Austria 2-0. France is currently up 1-0 on Iraq. That game is in the halftime. Mbappe scored today. That gives him 15 all-time as he tries to chase down Messi in the same tournament. In New Jersey at 8, we'll have Norway versus Senegal, and then at 11, it's Jordan. They take on Algeria in San Francisco. Then in baseball, Yankees at Detroit at 6:10. 7:07, the Jays have the Astros in town, and then at 7:10, the Mets, they host the Cubs. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
What kind of summer day is this?
November summer day.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's
59?
Gnarly, yeah.
And wet and drizzly wet, like not.
I had to pivot.
Wet.
I went out to see my man Oral Roberts, my barber.
Oh, I love this opportunity.
Colvin Mill barbering, and I wore shorts to that appointment and came home before I came here and put pants on.
Today?
Yes.
Who's your dentist, Brigham Young?
Didn't grab a jacket.
I can't wait. Every time I have to do it.
I
got to meet this guy. I hope he doesn't take it personally.
I wish
or
you
even
would.
know about it.
I would love for you to meet him. It's a super cool spot. There's a lot of cool things happening in the building where he is located, where they are located. So yeah, it's worth a look. There's a brewery in there. There's a deep dish pizza place in there. There's good stuff.
Where is it?
In the First Ward.
Okay. I might be able to do that because in the First Ward I have my ophthalmologist James Madison, so I'm going to go see him later this week. Doesn't really work. Paul Hamilton, also a stately name itself, here with us now on the West Her Hotline. Paul, so it's draft weekend. What is on tap for you? Are you writing articles this week? Are you? What do you have plans? Maybe you're meeting up with your colleagues around the NHL. I don't know. I'm wondering.
You covered the combine already. We know that, but
well, there won't be too many colleagues around because they'll be doing the same thing I am, hanging out with their team in their cities. The only people that are down in the arena are the players, like first-round players, and that's it. I mean, the teams are still scattered in their own. I mean, it's not a central location anymore. Last year was the first year of that. So I'll be down at the stadium, hanging out with.
Because they use the Bills draft room, right?
Yeah, they use the Bills draft room. So I'll be down there. Brian Koziel will be live with Brayton Wilson down at the arena. Joe Cali will be down on the floor with the players. So we'll be around, but as far as a central location, that's no more, and I doubt we'll ever see it again. I mean, teams like the fact, even though last year was a complete and utter disaster, it looked like sixth grade TV.
Yeah.
It's they don't care. They don't have to pack up their stuff and take it to some city. Owners don't have to pay for 9,000 social media people and their scouts and everybody on the road. So I would be seriously doubt we're going to go back to the old way.
I'm curious to see what, if anything, they do. I'm sure they will be working to try to improve the television presentation because the television presentation was I think, a laughingstock.
There's one, I think.
Oh, it was. It absolutely was. I was being serious. It was like a high school
Yeah,
production.
no, it was.
The only thing that could have been worse was just to have a test screen up there and nothing else. And I don't even know if that would have been worse.
I'd watch that. There's one thing I think, as I remember it, that made it especially bad that you don't get with football. Like, all the football teams aren't at the draft either.
Right.
But you don't have this awkward conference call moment with every pick and the management team that just picked them in football.
Yeah,
Right.
and like a 15-second delay in between
That too.
questions
Right.
and answers, and which made it more awkward. And they're like, "Oh, can you hear me?"
Right.
It was an utter disaster.
To the point where when it was the Bruins' turn, I was pretty sure they just pretended like their microphones didn't work because maybe they were watching it and just were like, "Let's just not. Let's just. You're breaking up. But that's it. We're done."
Smart. Well, it's because, too, the teams are not even really asking questions of the players. And, many of the players, by the way, might not even speak English that well. So you've got, we're all just like, we're very happy to have you, and we've watched you, and we're excited to have you, which all goes without saying because they just picked you.
Right.
And, if you just had the Susie Kalbers of the world and whoever else working for, they have that too in hockey.
Sure.
But, I think that's really where it fell flat last year is the team part.
Yeah, because they had, I think there was, I don't know if it was Leah Hextall. There was someone that was trying to be sort of the go-between between the person, the player that was just picked and the management staff that was on the video call, and it still just didn't work. It just was very sloppy.
I thought I heard they were going back to the old way, but no? Did you ever hear that? That they just were going to scrap it? No?
That's what, of course, media people and everybody wanted, but the teams themselves, especially owners, I mean, they don't want to pay for all that stuff.
There was immediately in the aftermath of how sloppy this was as a TV show, there was talk about it, and then eventually they said, no, I assume they just said we'll make the TV show better, but they don't want to go back to the other way.
Well, whatever it is, Paul, the one thing we can all guarantee, Gary Bettman will say it was great, actually. No matter what it is, test patterns and whatever, he'll tell you it was great. And if you don't believe him, you're missing the bigger picture.
And, of course, the playoff format's great. Everything's
great. Everything's always great. Well, a lot of it is actually great. I mean, the league has done a great job.
Yep.
I think about this sometimes, that we kind of tend to rag on them all the time. And you've got a league right now that's pretty healthy and watchable. And and whether it's interference in the neutral zone or officiating consistency, if that's not the same point, or the playoff format, or teams in the Sun Belt. Now everybody wants to go play in the Sun Belt.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, for all the focus that there can be on the shortcomings, Paul, I've been saying for more than 5 years, I think the sport looks better. Like the gameplay, I think the sport's as fun to watch as it's ever been in my lifetime. And that hasn't changed with the Sabres. I mean, the Sabres emerging only enhanced that. I just thought as far as the quality of the talent, the skill on display, I think the sport's never looked better.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw a lot of big comebacks in the playoffs, which were fun to watch. Look at the way the salary cap's going up, which is tied to revenues.
Right.
And that means revenues are going up at a big pace for the salary cap to be going up the way it is. Now, I don't think any of the teams are making oodles of money like they do in the NFL, but maybe they're coming close. If you get a couple of rounds into the playoffs, maybe you're coming close to breaking even at least, whereas you're almost guaranteed to lose money before. So, that's an encouraging thing, too.
Well,
speaking of the health of the league, Paul, what was your reaction? We'll get to the Sabres and everything, but the Brady Tkachuk trade was jarring when we saw it yesterday afternoon or early evening, whenever it was. Your reaction to what Ottawa was forced to do?
Yeah, I mean, and he basically pounded the table during the regular season, how he's staying in Ottawa, and he was belligerent about it. And that's why when I hear the Blues telling media people, well, we're not going to trade Thomas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Whatever. Yeah, tell me about it. And maybe you're not.
Right.
But don't tell me you're absolutely not, because you might be. And I just don't believe that stuff anymore. It's too many times it's just smokescreen, and next thing you know, the player's gone or wants to be traded. And more players now, I mean, it's a different era now.
Yep.
More players are using their right to get themselves to a team that they want to get themselves to. And they do that by telling the teams they're on that we aren't re-signing. We are going to unrestricted free agency. And tell the other teams we're going to unrestricted free agency too, that you're going to try to trade us to, because that'll make it even more interesting for you to try to trade me. Yeah, it's and then it's like, well, in Tkachuk's case, it was like he put out 4 teams.
But come on.
That was, yeah.
Right.
Maybe you did, but you were only going to 1.
Right.
You were doing that kind of to protect everybody or whatever, but you were only going to 1. This was to orchestrate a trade to the Florida Panthers. And, what happens if Ottawa decides, oh, yeah, you're not going to tell us what to do, and takes it right up to free agency? Well, then he goes, well, now I'll go to the Florida Panthers. I had to wait 2 years, but now I'll go to the Florida Panthers. It's like, I'm going to the Florida Panthers at some point.
And meanwhile,
it's up to you how you want me to get there.
And meanwhile, like if you play hardball there, you're Ottawa, and somehow or another it comes out that maybe he was almost traded in June of 26, but he wasn't. And the questions about whether he wants to be there or not, he's the captain. Like it would be untenable. Like once the organization knows he doesn't want to be there, yes, you are within your rights to not do anything about that. Just like Dylan Larkin in Detroit. You can dig in and say, yeah, no, sorry, we're not going to move you. But
cut the cord.
Then you've got a player there who's in a leadership position that the whole team knows wants out. Nobody wants to be there. Even the guys on the team, the other guys on the team don't want to be there with him now because they know he's not committed. So it's a terrible situation. But when you got a gun to your head, you got to do what the person with the gun wants. Usually, it's very hard unless you got someone barging through the door with another gun. And even then,
unfortunately, I don't even know if it was until it wasn't necessarily Team USA winning the Olympics. It was the political stuff. Mm-hmm. And the people in Canada were booing him mercifully. Even in Ottawa, he got booed somewhat, but he would go to other Canadian cities and they'd be all over him for political reasons. And he didn't enjoy that. He didn't like that. And I'm sure that wasn't going to change anytime soon. So that was, I think, one of the biggest reasons. Maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he was planning on doing this the whole time and was just, lying when he was sitting there talking about it. I don't know.
Well, the GM said he sensed a difference in him, in Tkachuk, when he came back from the Olympics. Now, he could just be saying that, to cover himself to some extent, like to make the point, look, I had no choice. You criticize me all you want, but I had to do this. But it's believable to me that would have been the case, because that's when all that treatment would have gotten ratcheted up even more so, and here you are. It probably started with the Four Nations, but at least the U.S. didn't win the Four Nations. Canada did, so nobody was that mad at the American players in Canada.
Yeah, no, it's so that, but I just think you're seeing it more and more. It's just like, okay, Bo Byram. Now he was different. He only has 1 year left, but it seems like he basically has told the Sabres,
yep,
I'm not re-signing, and basically has told them we're going to free agency. That's what we're. But I mean, the Sabres, I don't think there's any big shock to them. I mean, who's his agent? It's Darren Ferris. That's what Ferris does.
He's got a rep for doing that. Yeah,
sure he does. So I mean, and Bo Byram wants to be a number 1 defenseman somewhere, and that is the role he wants on a team. He understands that it's not going to happen with Rasmus Dahlin here. He understands it wasn't going to happen in Colorado with Makar there. So, that's what he wants to do. So more and more players were just like, all right, I'll just re-sign with my team or whatever. Who knows what we're going to get in free agency. But now they are using unrestricted free agency to kind of put clubs over a barrel and say, this is what we're going to be doing, and your move.
And hockey players traditionally have sort of, whether it's right or not, I think the cliche is like they don't want to put themselves out there that way. They don't want to invite that kind of scrutiny and be perceived as that selfish. But once a few guys do it, Reinhart did it, Eichel did it, they've won cups, O'Reilly did it. I mean, I'm focusing on Sabres, but I mean, the shoe fits here. Guys force their way out one way or another. I mean, O'Reilly didn't have a temper tantrum, but he said he lost his love of the sport, which might as well be a get me out of here call if there ever is one. And sure, maybe Jack Eichel gets booed when he's in Buffalo, but the other 363 days of the year, life is probably pretty good in Las Vegas for Jack Eichel, and I'll bet there's no regret that, sure, he poisoned the well in one city to some extent, and, you know, you can live with that, but really it's like everyone gets over it, and your life will be better if you end up where you want.
Yeah, I mean, he's won a Stanley Cup, he's been to the Stanley Cup Finals, so he gets booed when he's in Buffalo. Oh, well.
Right.
Nowhere else.
You know?
So
Yeah.
all I'm saying
Yeah.
is more guys.
Oh, well.
More guys may feel more like the more it happens, the more prevalent it becomes, the more prevalent it will continue to be, right? Because like more and more examples of guys that did it, and guess what? Life goes on, and you're happy, you know, whatever family, whatever situation you're trying to fulfill here by moving to this other place. You know, if you think it's going to improve your life, maybe you're right. And the fans that you leave behind maybe they won't get over it, but you don't have to really care. It's not that big a deal.
Exactly. No, you don't have to care. I mean, how many times is Vegas and Buffalo? Once a year. If you're Jack Eichel, you'll live.
84 games. They're not adding that? Is that going to be more than one? Do we know what they're doing with the extra? What are the extra 2 games? You guys know?
I don't.
I haven't thought to look. Not just commissioners. This is my fantasy idea. Where if I were commissioner of a league, I would
in the
pick
division,
the teams.
some teams you're playing 4 times, some teams you're playing 3.
All right, we're changing that then.
So you could make it to you're playing the division 2 more division teams 4 times instead of 3.
Yeah,
that's just an idea. I don't know if that's what they're doing.
That would be it. They're not going to add to the West. It's still going to be home and away with the other conference, I would think. All right, Paul, should be a fun week. Thanks for your time today.
No problem. Take care, guys.
All right, that's our Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline. Like Mike said, big week. Sabres are hosting the draft, and that is Friday. And I don't know, I'm still anticipating action. The Sabres are being mentioned by all the big shots as being, you know, looking to do business. Anyway, Paul's appearance with us, brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
What do you think of Radish to Toronto?
You know, initially I thought, and this even goes back into the regular season, I can't wait till somebody gives him $12 million a year in free agency off of one great year. He had a great 70 points, over 20 goals, the shot's elite. He had a great year. But prior to this, he was like a 30-point guy. Yep. Barely was in the league. It was more like a journeyman type guy is what his career felt like. I think even if I doubt he's a 70-point guy year over year, but if he's a 50-point guy, I think that's 8.5. Like I think it's not a bad deal for Toronto. I don't think they overpaid unless he does the bubble bursts and he's, you know, back to being a 30-point guy. Then I think you really screwed up. But I think he could have 15 goals and 35 assists, and you'd feel pretty good about that from a defenseman at $8.5 million.
Maybe I'll throw a Sabres jersey on and go to Toronto next year for a game, and then when the Leafs get booed off the ice 3-1 down after one period, I'll just boo myself.
There you go.
That'll just make it.
That's the move.
Sound louder.
Yeah.
Actually make it louder.
The only thing I don't like about it is that I don't know what it does to their desire to make another trade for a defenseman, but it could be that the Matthew Nyes, Bowen Byram trade idea is dead in the water. Mm-hmm. They did just sink $8.5 million into a defenseman.
Or they watched the Sabres season and thought, that's what we should do. Load up on
right. So, I mean,
puck-moving,
maybe go get
goal-scoring defenseman. That's what we should do, including one of the Sabres' own. Even.
I'm not eager to move Byram, but I said last week, like, if it were Matthew Nyes or it's Jordan Kyrou, like, it's a direct Tuck replacement.
Now it sounds more like they're going to need to.
I think I need to listen to that. Yeah.
Speaking of Tkachuk and Larkin and these guys that are kind of calling their shots. Wyndham Clark wins a second U.S. Open in 4 years, and he didn't do it, comfortably with the score and the crowd. Brian Koziol earlier joined us to analyze it. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, that's next on WGR.
If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or